Chapter 316. Are you giving me some compensation? The people of Spirit Radiance sect were instantly elated. Their originally drooping heads had also become full of spirit. You think you're great just because you have Su Yenran. We have little ninth junior sister. That's right. What's the use of having a higher level? Although our little ninth junior sister's level is low, she's smart. She obtained 10 million points alone. The 8 of you and Su Yenran aren't even that good. No wonder Su Yenran lost to our little ninth junior sister repeatedly. It's because her brain isn't working well anymore. Ha ha ha. Su Yenran almost fainted from anger. She felt that not only the people of Spirit Radiance sect looked at her with disdain and ridicule. Even those from Heavenly Gate sect did. Su Yenran gritted her teeth and shouted angrily, "Humph! The highest level in the mystic realm is only a tier 4 demonic beast. How could there be a tier 8 demonic beast?" This inner core might have been prepared by Yun Chujo beforehand. Yun Chujo was immediately unhappy and pointed at Su Yenran. Hey, why are you so narrow-minded? If no one has ever seen it, does that mean it doesn't exist? No one has seen the heavens, do you think that that doesn't exist? You're just jealous of talent. How shameless. Su Yenran was so angry that her face turned red. Yun Chujo, don't change the topic. How can you prove that you obtained this demonic beast inner core from the mystical realm? She felt that this demonic beast inner core could not have been obtained by Yun Chujo. How could a trash at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm kill a tier 8 demonic beast? Everyone immediately burst into an uproar. Su Yenran's words were not without reason. For thousands of years, there had never been a trial disciple who had encountered a tier 4 demonic beast or above in the mystic realm. This Yun Chujo taking out a tier 8 demonic beast inner core, all of a sudden really did not make sense. Elder Chu laughed out loud. How difficult is that? All the spoils of war in the ancient mystic realm can be verified with the Great Void Mirror Fragment. If there is no way to verify, wouldn't our trial be left to our disciple to cheat? Little Jiao, take out the Void Mirror Fragment and examine it. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes. Su Yenran, you wronged me for no reason. If I prove my innocence later, don't you have to give me some compensation? Su Yenran snorted coldly. Then what if T showed that you're the one who's faking it? If I'm the one who's faking it, then I'll give you this tier 8 demonic beast's inner core. If you're faking it, you can either give me the fragment of your void mirror, or lose 2 million low-grade spirit stones to me. Yun Chujo smiled like a little fox. The inner core of a tier 8 demonic beast in the world cost at least 2 million low-grade spirit stones. So no one felt anything unusual about Yun Chuji's condition. Su Yenran frowned. She could not make the decision about the void mirror fragment, and she did not have that many spirit stones. What should she do now? Elder Zhang said from the side, alright, it's a deal. However, the great void mirror garment cannot be used as a bet. Let's bet 2 million low-grade spirit stones. Yun Chujo sighed in her heart. She knew that it would not be so easy to trick her. However, it was not a bad idea to get some spirit stones and herbs. When I'm rich, I don't have to look at that gigolo's face anymore. Yun Chujo straightened her body and put her hands behind her back. Elder Zhang, please take a look. Otherwise you'll think that we're cheating. Although she said it nicely, she was actually afraid that Elder Xiao would take the broken pieces of the grand illusionary mirror back. Elder Zhang took out the voir mirror fragment and produced a seal. After that, the image of a mirror appeared on the top of the demon core. Haha. It's true. That's what I said. How could our little Jiao cheat? Your Heavenly Gate sect is really generous. You actually rushed over to give our little ninth girl spirit stones. Elder Chu did not know how to show off now. Chapter 317. Extremely angry Elder Zhang was so angry that his face twisted. However, Yun Chujo was hiding behind Elder Chu. She stretched out her claws and said, "Hurry up and transfer the 2 million spirit stones to me. My little heart has been hurt too badly by you. I must use the spirit stones to soothe it." The people of the Heavenly Gate sect wished they could capture Yun Chujo and give her a good beating. She was too infuriating. Did she just take advantage of us and still pretends to be good? How did we hurt your little heart? It was you who hurt our little heart, okay? Originally, we were 2 million points ahead of your sect. 2 million. We thought that our Heavenly Gate sect would definitely win this time. It was you, this scourge, who woke us up from our sweet dream. The most profligate thing you did was that the moment your upper and lower lips touched, you somehow extorted 2 million spirit stones from us. Su Yenran never expected that the inner core of a Tier 8 demonic beast was really obtained by Yun Chujio in the mystic realm. She was both embarrassed and angry. Coupled with Elder Zhang's angry gaze, she wished that she could find a hole to hide in. Su Yenran, thank you. You're really my lucky star. Last time I obtained a Scarlet Dawn silk because of you. This time I obtained another 2 million spirit stones. If others didn't know better, they would definitely think that you're my long-lost biological sister. Yun Chujio took the spirit stones, then smiled and winked at Su Yenran. You. Su Yenran rolled her eyes and fainted from anger. Yun Chujio shrugged her shoulders and spread her hands. I was just talking. Why is she so agitated? Could it be that she really wants to be my sister? Smelly girl. You're courting death. Elder Zhang could not hold it in any longer. If he did not slap this Yun Chujio to death that day, Heavenly Gate sect's honor would be completely disgraced. Yun Chujio saw Elder Zhang fly into a rage. With a whoosh, she once again hid behind Elder Chu. The Heavenly Gate sect can't afford to lose. Heavenly Gate sect is acting like a scoundrel. It's only right for them to admit defeat. You guys actually became angry out of humiliation. What a shameless move. In order to be safe, Yun Chujio simply hid behind the elders of Spirit Radiance sect and stuck out her little head, constantly provoking them. Elder Zhang's face was livid with anger. However, his attacks were all neutralized by Elder Chu, and he could not get close to Yun Chujio at all. Seeing that it was really inappropriate to continue causing trouble like this, Elder Zhang of Heavenly Gate sect walked forward to dissuade Elder Zhang. Elder Zhang, there's still time in the future. Since the mystic realm has already disappeared, let's return to the sect. Elder Zhang knew that he would not be able to do much that day, so he could only follow Elder Zhang's words and walk down the stairs. Before he left, he shot a sinister glance at Yun Chujio, who was poking her head out. Darn girl, I won't let you off. Just as Elder Zhang was about to turn around and leave, Yun Chujio shouted, Hey! You owe 1 million spirit stones to our sect. Are you trying to cheat us? Hurry up and pay up before you leave. Elder Chu slapped his thigh. That's right. I almost let you guys get away with it. Fortunately, little Jiao is here. Hurry up and give me 1 million spirit stones. Our sect has won gracefully this time. 8 million points more than you guys. Ha ha ha. Elder Zhang almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He threw 1 million spirit stones and left with the people of the Heavenly Gate sect in a huff. When the people of Heavenly Gate sect came, they were full of confidence. They did not expect such a tragic ending. All of this was caused by that Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio, you are the public enemy of our Heavenly Gate sect. Yun Chujio did not have the slightest awareness that she was their public enemy. Seeing that there was no more danger, she waved her claws at the back of the members of the Heavenly Gate sect. You guys should come to Spirit Radiance sect often to play with me. My 2 million spirit stones will be spent very soon. Remember to come and give me money often. Chapter 318. They want more little ancestors. The people of the Heavenly Gate sect staggered when they heard Yun Chujio's words. It was too infuriating. Yun Chujio, our Heavenly Gate sect is not done with you. Yun Chujio sighed at the people of Spirit Radiance sect. Sigh. Everyone, I've been worried to death for our sect. The Heavenly Gate sect must hate me to the bone this time. I'm doing this for our sect. If they gang up on me, you must help me. Everyone did not know what to say. You'd sound more sincere if you distributed the 2 million spirit stones you pocketed to everyone. However, after this incident, Yun Chujio's image among these new disciples had completely changed. In the Azure Mystic continent, the strong were respected. No matter how Yun Chujio obtained that Tier 8 demonic beast inner core, it was she who won back Spirit Radiance sect's honor. Therefore, Yun Chujio was the hero of Spirit Radiance sect. Yun Chujio played with the treasures for a while. Then she giggled at the elders and said implicitly, Elders, this time I'm number 1. You know it. The elders were stunned at first, then came to from the surprise counterattack just now. Heavens, they almost forgot about that. Not only did Yun Chujio enter the top 10, But she also clinched the well-deserved first place. Did that not mean that they had to acknowledge her identity as little ancestor Yun? They were going to have another little ancestor. All the elders' faces immediately twitched. Even if they had thousands of reasons, it was still very sullen to let this young girl be their elder, okay? Therefore, on the way back to the sect, all the elders were unhappy and full of worries. The disciples of Spirit Radiance sect were originally laughing happily, but when they saw the elders, they did not dare to laugh loudly anymore. They were very puzzled. They had clearly won, so why were all the elders suddenly unhappy? It was really strange. After the airship arrived at the Spirit Radiance sect, these elders flew straight to the meeting hall as if they were being chased by wolves. Master Xianyuan had already received the news and led the elders to wait in the meeting hall. Elder Xiao, Elder Chu. Why are you back in less than a month? Did something happen? Master Xianyuan could not help but ask worriedly when he saw the gloomy expressions on the elders' faces. Elder Chu sighed. Something did happen. I don't know if the ancient mystic realm self-destructed or why it disappeared. What? How is this possible? The ancient mystery dimension has existed for tens of thousands of years. How could it disappear for no reason? Master Xianyuan and the others were shocked. Elder Chu curled his lips. Who knows? It just disappeared. That Heavenly Gate sect actually brought their new disciples to participate in the trial at the same time and even made a bet with us. Those who had less points will be considered to have lost. Master Xianyuan and everyone immediately understood. It seemed that Spirit Radiance sect's points were low, which was why Elder Chu and the others were so depressed. Master Xianyuan consoled. Victory and defeat are common occurrences in war. You don't have to mind it so much. So be it if you lose. Elder Chu's face was full of confusion. Lose? Who said our sect lost? We won. We even surpassed Heavenly Gate sect by 8 million points. This time it was Master Xianyuan and the others who were dumbfounded. 8 million points? What kind of joke was this? How was this possible? Elder Chu, could it be that you're joking? 8 million points. How is this possible? Master Zuanyuan's face darkened slightly. This Elder Chu was really too ridiculous. He's almost on par with that little girl, Yun Chuzhou. Elder Chu was also anxious. Who's joking? Yun Chuzhou obtained a Tier 8 single-horn demon, lizard's inner core in the mystic realm. She instantly obtained 10 million points. Master Xianyuan and the others were instantly petrified. Yun Chuzhou? Who was on the 4th level of spirit enhancement? She killed a Tier 8 demonic beast? Is it because we're inexperienced, or is this little girl too heaven-defying? This is too unbelievable. Chapter 319. Just too soft-hearted Elder Chu saw the stupefied expressions on Master Xianyuan and the others' faces and instantly felt a lot more at ease. Speaking of which, they were also shocked back then. Sect Master, the crux of the matter now isn't that we won against the Heavenly Gate sect, but that Yun Chuzhou is worthy of first place. Back then, you promised her that if she were to rank within the top 10, you would acknowledge her as little ancestor Yun. Elder Chu saw that Master Xianyuan and the others had yet to react, so he quickly reminded them. Only then did everyone understand why Elder Chu and the others were still unhappy even after winning. That was right. Yun Chuzhou, that little girl, unexpectedly got first place, so they had to acknowledge her as little ancestor Yun. That was really depressing. That little girl was already smug to begin with. If she also had the little ancestor Yun identity, Spirit Radiance sect would be turned upside down by her. Master Xianyuan did not have much of a reaction. He said indifferently, since we've already discussed this, then we can only acknowledge Yun Chuzhou's identity as little ancestor Yun. Get Yun Chuzhou over here. Although the others were unwilling, they had nothing to say. Everyone thought to themselves, it would be great if Yun Chuzhou would voluntarily give up the identity of little ancestor Yun. However, that was pretty much impossible. That little girl was so capable of showing off. Why would she even let go of such an opportunity? After a short while, Yun Chuzhou came skipping over. She was so proud of herself that she even walked with her hands behind her back. Everyone's here? Not bad, not bad. You are indeed worthy of being taught. Yun Chuzhou nodded slightly at the crowd. Her demeanor was really great. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched. What did she say? It had not even been officially announced yet, and this girl was already starting to act like little ancestor Yun. Master Xianyuan had a high level of self-restraint. He smiled faintly and said, Yun Chujiu, you've obtained first place in this new disciple trial. According to our agreement, from today onwards, you'll be Spirit Radiance Sect's little ancestor Yun. The 10th generation of the Spirit Radiance Sect Master, Master Xianyuan, pays his respects to little ancestor Yun. Master Xianyuan bowed respectfully to Yun Chujiu. When the others saw that things had come to this, they could only bow respectfully to Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu's mouth was open so wide that it almost reached her cheeks. She lowered her hand slightly and said, Children, get up. Everyone almost spat out a mouthful of blood. When they thought of how much that scene would happen in the future, they instantly felt that they had nothing left to live for. Yun Chujiu was amused to see their twitching expressions. Everyone was so angry that they were twitching. Her happiness was entirely based on their pain. It was too infuriating. Master Xianyuan looked calm and asked respectfully, Little ancestor Yun, which mountain do you want to live on in the future? After you choose, I can help you set up a new courtyard. Yun Chujiu tried hard to hold back her laughter and blinked her eyes. Then she said, Little Xianyuan, I appreciate your kindness. However, after careful consideration, inconveniences will befall you kids if my identity is announced. Therefore, I've decided not to announce this news to the public for the time being. What? Could it be that there was something wrong with his ears? This little weirdo had actually become so understanding? Everyone looked at Yun Chujiu in shock. They really could not believe what she just said. Master Xianyuan was also stunned. Yun Chujiu, what do you mean? Yun Chujiu said with a smile, As long as you acknowledge my identity, there's no need to announce it to the public. Other than you probably being requested by me often, you can just treat me as an ordinary disciple. How is it? Does this little ancestor have the demeanor of an elder? I'm doing this for your sake. My greatest strength is that I'm too soft-hearted. When everyone heard Yun Chujiu's words, they were both surprised and delighted. This was simply too good. When they thought of bowing to this little girl in front of their disciples, it was simply too awkward. Little ancestor Yun is truly magnanimous. She is indeed worthy of being Patriarch Linghua's true disciple. That's right, little ancestor Yun has a heavenly thunder root spirit. She's naturally different from ordinary people. That's right. Little ancestor Yun's decision is really too wise. Master Xianyuan felt that with Yun Chujiu's personality, she definitely would not be so simple. Could this little girl be up to no good again? Chapter 320. Making up for an injured old heart. Yun Chujiu smiled at the crowd and nodded. You flatter me. You flatter me. As an elder, I naturally have the demeanor of an elder. Little Xianyuan, what do you think about following my instructions? Although Master Xianyuan was still uncertain, he still smiled and said, I'll follow little ancestor Yun's arrangements. I wonder what identity little ancestor Yun wishes to obtain temporarily? Yun Chujiu giggled and said, I've already obtained first place, so I should at least be a successor disciple. Isn't that old man Sun Buozhong in seclusion cultivation? Just put me under him. Alright, let's do as you say. Master Xianyuan thought to himself, it seems that the little girl has already planned it out. What exactly is she doing this for? Yun Chujiu coughed dryly. Little Xianyuan, I've made such a big compromise. Let's consider that fragment of the Great Void Mirror as compensation for this little ancestor. Master Xianyuan was a little stunned. The fragment of the Void Mirror? Elder Shao said with a sullen face, Master, the fragment of the Void Mirror has already been snatched away by Yun Chujiu, little ancestor Yun. Yun Chujiu's face fell. Little Boulder, I don't like what you're saying. What do you mean I snatched it away? I was just keeping it for you guys, alright? The situation was so chaotic back then. If it wasn't for my quick reflexes, it might've been snatched away by those from Heavenly Gate sect. Little Boulder? Elder Shao felt that his entire person was in a bad mood. However, although he was stubborn, he abided by the rules of etiquette. Yun Chujiu's identity was already set. Even if he was dissatisfied, he did not dare to have any objections and immediately fell silent. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched slightly. No matter how they looked at it, the name Little Boulder seemed strange when it was applied to Elder Shao's being. Since that's the case, you can keep that fragment of the Great Void Mirror. Master Xianyuan knew that Yun Chuzhou was not that kind-hearted. However, since the ancient dimension had been destroyed, the fragment of Void Mirror would not be of much use anymore. She can have it. Yun Chuzhou nodded her head in satisfaction. Then she said with a bright smile, "It's settled then. In the future, when there are outsiders, I will be a true disciple of Spirit Radiance sect. Now there aren't many elders like me who are thinking of the younger generation. Are you all very touched?" Everyone braced themselves and nodded their heads. No matter what, Yun Chuzhou's actions saved them a lot of embarrassment. Seeing this, Yun Chuzhou continued with a smile, "You guys are so sensible. I'm really happy. Children, I'm celebrating my birthday. Shouldn't you give me birthday gifts?" Everyone was stunned. Celebrating her birthday? Today was Yun Chuzhou's birthday. Master Xianyuan took out the information of his new disciple from his storage ring and flipped through it. "Little ancestor Yun, that's not right. Isn't your birthday already over?" Yun Chuzhou cursed silently. That old fox actually brought that information with him. It should have been easy for me to scam them of a few things. If an ordinary person were to be exposed, it would definitely be very awkward. However, Yun Chuzhou did not have the awareness and just coughed dryly. Cough cough. My 15th birthday is over. Shouldn't you all feel guilty for your negligence? Hurry up and make up for the birthday present to make up for my injured heart. Oh right, if you want to make up for the previous 14 years of birthday present, I won't stop you. Everyone was absolutely speechless. They knew it. This fellow was not that kind-hearted. She even said that she was thinking of them. She was just trying to scam them. After struggling for a while, they still chose honor over money. Each and every one of them began to painfully take out the so-called birthday present. Yun Chuzhou didn't know what it meant to be reserved at all. When she saw that she was dissatisfied, she immediately returned the goods. Low-grade spirit tool? You're disrespecting your elders. Little Xianyuan, what does the 8th rule of Spirit Radiance sect say? Isn't there a punishment for disrespecting your elders? That bitter elder did not wait for Master Xianyuan to reply. He hurriedly took out a middle-grade spirit tool and handed it to Yun Chuzhou. "Little ancestor Yun, I took the wrong one just now." Yun Chuzhou nodded. "You're so young but you don't have good eyesight. Be careful in the future." Yun Chuzhou was beaming with joy as she accepted the gifts. She was thinking that it would be great if she could have 8 or 10 birthdays that year. Chapter 321. Interrogating a ball of yarn. Yun Chuzhou was the best at giving people a sweet slap. Seeing everyone's pained expression, she said sincerely, "Everyone, do you think I'm a little greedy?" Everyone was silent. "Is there a need to ask? You're not just a little greedy. You're very greedy. Actually, I have my own difficulties. I'm not a greedy person but I'm too weak now. I need to have some means to save my life. If I'm captured by others, you will definitely save me as a sign of respect to your teacher, right? If they come up with any excessive conditions, you will be in a dilemma. Why don't you give me something good and let me be safe? Am I right?" The grievances in everyone's hearts dissipated a little. What Yun Chuzhou said made some sense. She was only at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm, so she was indeed too weak. Moreover, I have the heavenly thunder root spirit. It'll definitely soar to the sky in the future. I'm not someone who doesn't repay kindness. In the future I might be rich. When that time comes, you can choose any high-grade spirit tool or high-grade medicinal pill you want. If it's not good enough, I'll use lightning to help you strike whoever you dislike. Yun Chuzhou's face was full of sincerity. The sincerity in her eyes was so touching that it almost made people cry. The remaining dissatisfaction in everyone's hearts had also dispersed. Although Yun Chuzhou was not great, she was still pure-hearted. From the looks of it, they were a little stingy. Alas, they had lived for a few hundred years in vain. They were even worse than a 15-year-old child. How shameful! Master Xianyuan could not help but sigh. This Yun Chuzhou's control over people's hearts was really amazing. How did a 15-year-old little girl do this? It was truly heaven-defying. Seeing that everyone was satisfied, Yun Chujo smiled and said, "Little Xinyun, since there's nothing else, I'll go back first. See you again in the future. I'm still that little disciple of Spirit Radiance sect. See you later." Master Xinyuan waved his hand, indicating that she could leave. Yun Chujo hopped out of the meeting hall and headed straight for the dormitory. "Master, why didn't you let them announce your identity?" the rolling pin asked in puzzlement. "A tree that stands out in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. I don't want to become a target for some people. Besides, what if they capture me and threaten Spirit Radiance sect? How great is it now that I made a huge profit and even obtained the fragment of the Great Void Mirror? Let's go back quickly and interrogate Furry." On the way back, Yun Chujo made a decision. After repeatedly weighing the pros and cons, she made the decision not to reveal her identity. Yun Chujo returned to her dormitory and simply tidied up. Then she shouted angrily, "Furry, get out here." Furry flew out from between Yun Chujo's brows and rolled on the ground happily. "Ha ha ha! I finally get to see the outside world. This is great." Yun Chujo gritted her teeth. "Furry, why did you take me out of the realm? You caused my image to be seriously damaged. Were you purposely taking revenge on me?" Furry hurriedly explained, "Master, there's nothing I can do about it. The main body of the Great Void Mirror recognizes you as its master, so it naturally can no longer exist outside of your body." Yun Chujo thought for a moment and felt it made sense. It seemed like she had wronged Furry. "Alright, let's turn the page. Furry, hurry up and get me some high-grade spirit herbs. I need it." Yun Chujo thought to herself that she had been plucking sheep's wool in the spirit herb garden many times, and it was the perfect time to get some spirit herbs to return to Elder Chi. Fui's eyes flickered with guilt as it stammered, "Master, master, there's something I need to tell you." Chapter 322. The outside world is so cruel. Yun Chujo had an inexplicable foreboding. "Speak." "Well, dear master, there's 8 pieces of the Great Void Mirror, right? Hence, there are flaws to its functionality. For the time being, and I really mean for the time being, other than me, nothing else can be taken out of it." After the ball of yarn finished speaking, it retracted its 4 limbs into the ball of yarn, feeling guilty. Yun Chujo was stunned at first, and then she was instantly enraged. She thought that she had gotten a great bargain, and only after a long time did she found out that she had brought back such a useless thing. Yun Chujo sneered at the ball of yarn that had shrunk into a ball. "Ball of yarn, since you have no other use, then I'll just use you to play kudu." Yun Chujo kicked the ball of yarn away. The ball of yarn hit the wall and bounced back. Then it was kicked away again and bounced back. "Master! Master! I'm not finished. Stop! Let me finish." The ball of yarn hugged Yun Chujo's calf and begged pitifully. "Speak. Master, as long as you get the 8 fragments back and fix the void mirror, you'll be rich. The void mirror is a divine artifact. It's much stronger than the rolling pin." The rolling pin was immediately unhappy. "If you want to say something, just say it. Why hold back? I'll beat you to death, bitch." The miserable ball of yarn was instantly beaten into a blanket, tears streaming down its face. "Sob sob. Baby yarn ball regrets this. The world outside is so cruel." Yun Chujo touched her chin. A divine artifact? It sounded pretty awesome. However, not to mention the other 4 fragments, just the fragments in the hands of the other 3 great sects were already very difficult to get, right? Yun Chujo held the Spirit Radiance sect's fragment in her hand and asked Ball of Yarn, "I have one in my hand now. If I fix it, will it have any use?" Furry got up from the ground and said fawningly, "Master, if I fix this piece, I can get the yellow category, low-grade spirit herbs and first-grade demon beasts out of the mystic realm for you. And how do I operate it?" Yun Chujo curled her lips. They were all worthless goods, but it was better than nothing. At least in the future, she did not have to go to the mountains to get roasted meat anymore. The Ball of Yarn taught Yun Chujo an obscure and difficult chant. After Yun Chujo recited it, the fragment of the void mirror in her hand floated up and hid between Yun Chujo's eyebrows. Yun Chujo looked inside and sure enough, one of the holes in the great void mirror had been repaired. Yun Chujo secretly stared at the 2 things in her dantian. These 2 things were not good adn. She did not know whether it was a blessing or a curse. It was already lunchtime. The three foodies naturally had a big meal. Especially Furry, who had never eaten these delicacies before. It ate with all its might. After it finished eating, its entire body swelled up. Furry immediately forgot about the abuse she had suffered previously. Baby Yarn does not regret this. The outside world is really too fucking awesome. Little sister Jiao. Little sister Jiao. Big brother is here to see you. Yun Chujo frowned. Why was the red-clothed pervert there? This black-headed chicken must have sent someone to monitor her. Otherwise, why would he come when she had just returned? Yun Chujo rolled her eyes. Since you took the initiative to come to my door, don't blame me for being ruthless. If I don't kill you, I would be wronging the 99,000 spirit stones that the gigolo had swindled you of. Yun Chujo giggled as she walked out of the room. Brother Wuji, I'm so happy to see you. I was wondering why the sky is blue, the grass is green, and the flowers are blooming today. Turns out, I have a distinguished guest. Chapter 323. Young master, please wake up. Little sister Joe, you really know how to talk. I haven't seen you in a while. Did you miss your big brother? Here, take these flowers. Shue Wuji took out a bunch of colorful wild flowers from his storage ring and handed it to Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo casually took it and said, Big brother Wuji, this good-looking but useless thing is not as practical as 2 meat buns. Next time, don't do such a stupid thing. Shue Wuji was speechless. Secret agent Hua Hua remembered that his young master had confidently said that Yun Chujo would be overjoyed when she saw the flowers. She would definitely be moved to tears. Young master, does your pride hurt? Shue Wuji looked at Yun Chujo casually throwing the bouquet of wild flowers that he had carefully arranged on the stone table. He was so angry that his heart was twitching. This stupid girl had no aesthetic sense at all. She actually abused his hard work. Brother Wuji, why do you look so pale? Are you hungry? Yun Chujo asked with a smile. I was in a hurry to see you. I haven't had lunch yet. Shue Wuji loosened his fists in his sleeve. This darn girl still cares about me. Yun Chuji's eyes lit up. Brother Wuji, what do you want to eat? I have everything here. Anything. Anything is fine. Shue Wuji felt even more touched. This stupid girl is so considerate toward me. Yun Chujo quickly took out a table of food from her storage ring. Seeing that the bouquet of wild flowers was in the way, she pushed it to the ground. The corner of Shue Wuji's eyes twitched violently. This little girl is really not romantic. However, at least she still has some feelings for me. Otherwise, she wouldn't have taken the initiative to prepare food for me. Shue Wuji was really a little hungry. He picked up his chopsticks and started eating. Little sister Joe, your food is not bad. I'm about to fall in love with you. After Shue Wuji had eaten his fill, he leaned back slightly on the recliner. His long and narrow phoenix eyes were filled with charm as he looked at Yun Chujo with deep affection. When Yun Chujo heard Shue Wuji's words, she was stunned. Shue Wuji was pleased with himself. A little girl who had never seen the world was a piece of cake for this young master. As long as he used some tricks, she would be completely loyal to him. Debeiming, just you wait to be cuckolded. Brother Wuji, what did you say just now? I was just calculating the bill, and didn't hear clearly. We're old acquaintances. How about this, I will give you a discount for this table of dishes. You only need to pay me 100,000 spirit stones. Yun Chujo said with a smile. Shue Wuji almost fell off his chair. What? Was she not mesmerized by him? Was she counting money? Secret agent Hua Hua quietly stepped back. Young master, you better be careful. Why don't you learn your lesson? The little girl doesn't even like you. Wake up. Shue Wuji gritted his teeth. Little sister Joe, I remember you said last time that you wouldn't charge me for my meals in the future. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. I didn't charge you for your food. I charged you for the vegetables. I didn't include the rice. Shue Wuji was speechless. Brother Wuji, are you trying to go back on your word? No wonder Prince Charming said that you're a cheapskate. Prince Charming is always very generous. Yun Chujo curled her lips with a look of disdain. Shue Wuji was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. He immediately became anxious. He's the cheapskate. Little Sister Joe, I was joking with you just now. It's just 100,000 spirit stone, isn't it? Take it. Chapter 324. I'll take it. Yun Chujo accepted the spirit stones, and her smile immediately brightened. Brother Wuji, you're really a generous tycoon. Are you thirsty? Let me make you a pot of tea, okay? Little Sister Joe, I'm not thirsty. Let's chat. Shue Wuji shook his head like a rattle drum. What a joke. This little girl was so ruthless. A pot of tea would probably cost him 10,000 spirit stones. Brother Wuji, I originally wanted to give you a pot of tea. Since that's the case, I'll drink it myself. Yun Chujo poured a cup of tea and sipped it. The dishes Shue Wuji ate were a little salty. Initially, he did not think much of it. Now that he heard the sound of Yun Chujo drinking water, he immediately felt thirsty. Little Sister Joe, I'm also a little thirsty. Yun Chujo smiled and poured a cup for Shue Wuji. Big Brother Wuji, please have some tea. Shue Wuji's depression dissipated a little, and he drank the tea in one gulp. Yun Chujo helped fill another cup, and Shue Wuji drank it all. After drinking 3 cups in a row, Shue Wuji put down the teacup. Little Sister Joe, there's no need to pour. I don't want to drink anymore. Brother Wuji, 1 cup costs 10,000 spirit stones, and 3 cups cost 30,000 spirit stones. Pay up. What? Didn't you say you would give it to me as a gift? Yeah, didn't you want the pot of tea that I gave you as a gift? These 3 cups are for a fee. Brother Wuji, are you trying to renege on your promise? If you don't want to give it to me, then so be it. I can't beat you anyway. Sigh, Prince Charming never reneges on his promise. He always pays up without hesitation. Shue Wuji felt like his head was about to burst. This wretched girl was really crafty. He was so angry. Shue Wuji endured but did not make a move. He squeezed out a smile and said, Little Sister Joe, you're really lively. Isn't it just 30,000 spirit stones? Take it. Brother Wuji is really a good person who keeps his word. Brother Wuji, do you want to have some spirit fruits? Are you going to charge me? Shue Wuji gritted his teeth and asked. Of course I do. Brother Wuji, it can't be that you can't afford it, right? Since you can't afford it, then forget it. I'll sell it to my Prince Charming. I can't afford it? Humph. Bring me as many as you have. Shue Wuji straightened his back. This young master is much richer than that expressionless man. Secret Agent Hua Hua rubbed his forehead. Young master, where is your usual shrewdness? Why do you always look like a fool when you're with this little girl? She's obviously trying to trick you. Sure enough, Yun Chujo smiled and produced a basket of red fruits, each of which was only the size of a thumb. Brother Wuji, there are a total of 580 coral fruits costing 100 spirit stones each, which comes to a total of 58,000 spirit stones. Pay up. Shue Wuji jumped up immediately. 1 spirit stone can buy a whole cart of these lousy coral fruits on the streets. You're selling them to me for 58,000? Are you trying to rob me? Yun Chujo pouted her mouth aggrievedly. Brother Wuji, the coral fruits you mentioned are from the demonic beast forest. I picked these from the ancient mystic dimension. The ancient mystic dimension has disappeared, so these coral fruits are precious. If it weren't for our good relationship, I wouldn't have sold them to you. It's fine if you don't buy them, but when the Prince Charming comes, I'll sell them to him. Maybe he'll give me 100,000 spirit stones for them. Shue Wuji snorted coldly. No matter where you pick them, they're just coral fruits without any spiritual essence. I don't believe that D. Biming would pay 100,000 spirit stones for this damn thing. As soon as Shue Wuji finished his words, a cold voice was heard. Black thing, I'll pay 200,000 spirit stones for these fruits. Chapter 325. It's for your young master's consumption anyway. Along with his voice, D. Biming, who had an austere aura, appeared. He glanced at the bouquet of wild flowers on the ground, then glanced at the food and spiritual fruits on the stone table, and glared fiercely at Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo inexplicably felt a little guilty, and then she straightened her small waist. What was she guilty about? She did not do anything bad. Besides, why did the gigolo look like he caught her in bed? Who was he to do that? Shwewuji was shocked. He did not notice D-Biming at all when he was nearby. This meant that D-Biming's emotionless skills had increased again. Black thing, I want these coral fruit. I'll transfer 200 spirit stones to you later. Go and wash a plateful for me. I'll invite young Master Shwe to taste it. After all, a frugal person like young Master Shwe wouldn't be willing to buy such expensive fruits. D-Biming sat on the stone bench and said indifferently. Yun Chujo smiled brightly and replied in a crisp voice, all right. Prince Charming, you're the real nouveau riche. I'll go and wash the fruits now. Shwewuji felt that the word real was very harsh on his ears and he sneered. Wait. There must be a first come, first serve way to buy things, right? Little sister Jo, this young master will also pay 200 spirit stones for the fruit. Secret Agent Hua Hua was about to cry. Young master. The two of them are trying to trick you. Are you stupid? You're usually cunning. But why do you look like an idiot when you meet D-Biming and Yun Chujo? Yun Chujo seemed to be in a difficult position when she heard Shwewuji's words. She said timidly, this, Prince Charming, it was indeed Brother Wuji who came first. I'm sorry, I can only sell the fruit to Brother Wuji. D-Biming raised his eyebrows. He came first, but it only counts when you pay for the business. Come here. I'll transfer the spirit stones to you now. Shwewuji immediately became anxious. Little sister Jo, I'll transfer it to you now. Yun Chujo seemed to be in a difficult position. She stomped her feet and said, My Prince Charming, I'm sorry. I should sell it to Brother Wuji. He came first. Shwewuji was very proud. He could not wait to transfer the 200,000 spirit stones to Yun Chujo. Then he said, D-Biming, this fruit is mine. It's my treat. Little sister Jo, go and wash the fruits for me. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. Brother Wuji, I just remembered that this fruit is pure and uncontaminated. Doesn't need to be washed. If we wash it with water, it might lose its flavor. We can just eat it like this. Shwewuji smacked his lips. Why did he feel like he had been tricked? Shwewuji calmed down and gritted his teeth in anger. These two made a trap for him to fall into? He had actually fallen for the trap on a whim. Shwewuji was both angry and annoyed. He had always been the one who cheated others. Why was he repeatedly deceived by this smelly little girl, Yun Chujo? It must be that he was too careless. Yes, it must be so. Brother Wuji, you said that you're treating us to the fruits? Are you still doing that? Can we start eating? Yun Chujo answered with a smile. Shwewuji gritted his teeth and said, Yes. Of course it counts. Let's eat. Yun Chujo cheered and grabbed a bunch of coral fruits for Enfeng, and In, who appeared one after another. Then she grabbed another bunch for Secret Agent Hua Hua and said, Little Hua Hua, try this. It's sweet then sweet then sour. It's your young master's treat anyway, so don't be shy. Secret Agent Hua Hua felt that his young master's head was already faintly emitting smoke. This Yun Chujo was really too infuriating. Chapter 326. Women are afraid of marrying the wrong man. Shwewuji's heart was bleeding as he watched the crowd eat the fruits. A small fruit costs more than 300 spirit stones. You're not eating fruit. You're eating my spirit stones. Shwewuji saw that the fruit was rapidly decreasing, so he quickly grabbed a handful and ate it. Eating one was equivalent to earning 300 spirit stones. I'll eat them. Perhaps it was because he had spent spirit stones, but Shwewuji felt that the fruit was indeed much sweeter than a large cart of coral fruits. The basket of coral fruits was quickly eaten up by everyone. Shwewuji was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. I feel uncomfortable. I just don't have to think about it. Therefore, he looked at D-Biming with a meaningful look. Then he smiled and said, D-Biming, I haven't congratulated you yet. I heard that the old madam of your palace has recently invited many young ladies to your palace as guests for you to choose your concubines. Those young ladies are all socialites from the Tianyuan continent. You have so much variety of concubines to choose from. You're really lucky in love. D-Biming said expressionlessly, Our palace is relatively quiet and not as lively as your sect. That's why my mother would occasionally hold some banquets. The matter of choosing concubines is completely non-existent. If I were like you, I believe my mother would not be so free. Xue Wuji originally wanted to sow discord between Di Biming and Yun Chuzhou, but he did not expect Di Biming to turn it on him. He quickly explained to Yun Chuzhou, "Little sister Zhou, I don't have any harem. Those girls are all willing to be guests in our sect. There's nothing between them and me. At most, I'll ask them to dance and sing for me. When I marry you in the future, I'll definitely chase them away." Yun Chuzhou giggled. "What's the point of chasing them away? It'll be more lively with more people. It'll be great if we can form 2 Kuju teams." "Little sister Zhou, do you mean that you'll agree to be with me?" Xue Wuji asked excitedly. He thought to himself, what's the big deal about giving a few spirit stones? As long as I get Yun Chuzhou, this wretched girl, it would be the biggest insult to Di Biming. Yun Chuzhou tried her best to ignore Di Biming's cold gaze, and said with a smile, "Brother Wuji, you've misunderstood. I'm giving you a suggestion. In the future, if you have a girl that you like, you can do this. Little sister Zhou, it'll only take 1 scoop out of the 3,000. Other than you, I won't marry anyone else." Xue Wuji said with deep affection, his eyes full of friendship. "Brother Wuji, I appreciate your kindness, but I only treat you as my elder brother." Yun Chuzhou cursed in her heart. This flirt must have seduced many girls. Otherwise, how can he be so smooth with his words? Xue Wuji looked heartbroken and then smiled bitterly. "Little sister Zhou, your words really hurt my heart. But it doesn't matter. Brotherly love is still love. One day you'll find that I'm the most suitable man for you. You'll find out the true face of a hypocrite sooner or later. On one hand, someone is choosing concubines in his own palace, and on the other hand, he's pretending to like you in front of you. Such a scumbag is not worthy of you, little sister Zhou." Di Biming could not stand it anymore, and said coldly, "Xue Wuji, if you don't want to die, then get lost." When Xue Wuji saw that Di Biming finally lost his composure, he became even more spirited. "Little sister Zhou, I exposed someone's true colors and he became angry out of embarrassment. Little sister Zhou, you're still young and have never seen the evil of the world. Men are afraid of entering the wrong line of work and women are afraid of marrying the wrong man. You must keep your eyes open." Chapter 327. "I'll give you a poem." Di Biming's aura suddenly changed. He stood up and took a few steps forward. "Xue Wuji, isn't the lesson I taught you a few days ago enough? Do you want your demon blood sex territory to shrink by another 10%? Xue Wuji sneered. "Di Biming, are you angry because you're humiliated? Little sister Zhou, look. He's guilty. You must keep your eyes open." Yun Chuzhou acted as if she did not see the tense atmosphere between the two of them. She smiled and said, "Yes, Brother Wuji, I know. A good person like you will be rewarded. As a token of my gratitude, I'll give Brother Wuji a poem." Xue Wuji was very proud. "Little sister Zhou, you are really talented. You even know how to write poems. Recite it." Di Biming was instantly enraged when he heard that Yun Chuzhou was actually going to give Xue Wuji a poem. The first thing that came to his mind was the love poem that Yun Chuzhou had given him back then. Could it be that the black thing was also going to give Xue Wuji a poem? This was really outrageous. Yun Chuzhou ignored Di Biming's dead fish eyes. With her hands behind her back, she straightened her back and said loudly, "Brother Wuji, listen well. Good will be rewarded for good, and evil will be rewarded for evil. Good and evil will be rewarded in the end. If you don't believe it, look up and see who will be spared by the heavens." Xue Wuji was speechless. "Darn girl, are you praising me or scolding me? Why doesn't it seem like a good thing? Brother Wuji, how's my poem? It's simple, easy to understand and full of philosophical meaning. It's too suitable for you." Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. The corner of Xue Wuji's eyes twitched. "Little sister Zhou, why do I feel that your poem doesn't seem to be praising me, but rather cursing me?" Yun Chuzhi's small face immediately sank. "Brother Wuji, how can you say that? This poem of mine praises good people and curses evil people. Not only did you give me spirit stones, but you also reminded me not to fall for the scumbag man's trap. How can you be an evil person? You're obviously a good person with a good heart." Xue Wuji was rendered speechless. He could not possibly expose himself as someone with a bad heart, right? Xue Wuji felt that if he continued to stay here, He would definitely be angered to the point that he would vomit blood. However, he could not leave letting the two of them feel great either. I've eaten and drank here, so I'll take my leave then. Little sister Joe, you must keep your eyes open. You mustn't accept a scumbag who has multiple faces. I'll come and visit you often. Yun Chujo waved her claws. Goodbye, Brother Wuji. Remember to bring more spirit stones next time. I still have some good things to sell you. Shue Wuji originally wanted to leave Yun Chujo a cool back view. But when he heard this, he staggered and quickly left with secret agent Hua Hua. He looked like he was running away. Yun Chujo turned around, as if she did not see Di Biming, and hopped into the house. Di Biming was originally sitting on the stone bench, and purposely put on a face that made people stay away from him. He was waiting for Yun Chujo to explain herself. HMPH Black Thing, I definitely won't forgive you easily this time. The miserable overlord did not expect Yun Chujo to ignore him. She hopped straight into the house. Di Biming initially thought that Yun Chujo had entered the house to retrieve something. Perhaps it was a love letter or something like that. However, after waiting and waiting, Yun Chujo still did not come out. Di Biming was so angry that his face turned green. Alright, after not seeing her for a few days, Black Thing's courage is getting bigger and bigger. Not only is she chatting and laughing with that idiot Shue Wuji, she actually dares to ignore me. I won't let her off. Di Biming kicked the door to pieces with a loud bang and then stormed into the house angrily. Chapter 328. Male God, sing me a lullaby. And Feng heard the sound of Di Biming kicking the door, and he could not help but shrink his neck. Your Majesty, in terms of chasing girls, you're really inferior to Shue Wuji. With your pursuit, you're destined to die alone. Di Biming entered the room and saw Yun Chujo lying on the bed, twitching as if she was crying. Di Biming suppressed his anger and asked awkwardly, Black Thing, what are you doing? Yun Chujo raised her head. Her eyes were red and tears were streaming down her face. She grabbed the pillow in her hand and threw it at Di Biming. Sob. You're such a pervert. Leave. I don't want to see you again. Under normal circumstances, Di Biming would definitely tear the pillow that was thrown at him into pieces. However, he was a little numb then. Black Thing was crying so sadly. What should I do? She must have heard Shue Wuji's stupid words and misunderstood me. Black Thing, Shue Wuji's stupid words aren't true. Women are the most troublesome. Why would I choose a concubine so early? Yun Chujo sneered in her heart. Humph, if you don't choose a concubine now, meaning you'll choose one sooner or later. Damn it. If I don't torture you, you won't learn your lesson. Yun Chujo allowed her tears to fall one drop at a time as she said bitterly, Prince Charming, you should go. Brother Wuji's words make sense. You're indeed not my lover. You'll meet the woman you like when you're choosing your concubine. You should go. Just let me die of sadness alone. Sob. Di Biming felt his heart clench and he explained helplessly, Black Thing, I didn't mean that. I will not choose a concubine in the future. Sob. You're lying. You even said that you would treat me well. But not only did you glare at me, you even broke my door. How is that treating me well? Sob, living is so tiring. I might as well die. Sob, don't stop me. I'm going to hit the wall and commit suicide. Yun Chujo said as she climbed up from the bed and crashed into a wall. Di Biming was so scared that he almost jumped out. He quickly hugged Yun Chujo. Black Thing. I was wrong. I won't kick the door anymore. I'll definitely treat you well in the future. Yun Chujo felt that the fire was almost ready. Little fellow, I'll simmer it slowly. Sooner or later I'll make you a wife slave. Then she rolled her eyes and pretended to faint. Di Biming was so anxious that he stuffed the pills and lost his spiritual power. Only then did Yun Chujo pretend to be weak and said, My idol, I'm fine. I'm just a little too sad. Carry me to the bed for me to rest. Di Biming quickly put Yun Chujo gently on the bed and asked nervously, Are you feeling better now? Yun Chujo said weakly, I'm alright, but I'm feeling a little stuffy. Thin blue shiitake mushroom. Di Biming was confused and quickly said, Black Thing, then you should get some rest. I'll get Feng and the others to replace the door for you. Prince Charming, am feeling very anxious. Sing me a lullaby. Yun Chujo said weakly. Dee Biming's face turned red. Black thing, I don't know how to sing a lullaby. Ah, my heart hurts. I can't breathe. Yun Chujo clutched her chest and cried out pitifully. Dee Biming gritted his teeth and recalled the lullaby his mother sang when he was young. He sang in a low voice, "The moon is bright, the wind is still, the leaves cover the windows. The crickets are calling, just like the sound of the zither strings. The sound of the zither is light and melodious, and the cradle is swaying gently. Ah, my baby, close your eyes and sleep, sleep in your dreams." Yun Chujo almost burst out laughing. She tried hard to hold back her laughter and lay on the pillow, but she actually fell asleep slowly. Chapter 329. I must hit my head against the wall today. Dee Biming saw that Yun Chujia's face was still dripping with tears, so he bent down and gently kissed her. Then he was stunned. Tears are salty. Why were black things' tears so spicy? Dee Biming suspiciously picked up Yun Chujia's hand and looked at it. Indeed, there was a tiny bit of red chili left under her fingernails. Dee Biming was so angry that he almost fainted. Good. Very good. Black thing, you actually used chili to trick me. Dee Biming immediately wanted to scold Yun Chujo awake. He endured it, gritted his teeth and left. Yun Chujo did not know that the truth had been exposed. After a beautiful sleep, she covered her little head in the quilt and laughed secretly. Ha ha ha. The gigolo actually sang a lullaby for me. This idiot didn't even know how to change the lyrics. What a fucking baby. Can't he change it to my little Gio? He's so stupid. However, the gigolo's singing was pretty good. In the future, she would make him sing a lullaby while she slept. If he did not sing, she would pretend to be sick. Anyway, no one would be able to tell what was going on because of the pain in her heart. Yes, let's do it. She fantasized about a beautiful future on the bed. Then her stomach began to growl. Hence, she lied on the bed and pretended to be weak. Prince Charming, come in quickly. I'm so uncomfortable. Dee Biming walked in with an expressionless face. He barely held back the thought of strangling Yun Chujo. He gritted his teeth and asked, "Uncomfortable again? How can we fix that?" Yun Chujo said pitifully, "Maybe I'm hungry? I won't feel uncomfortable if I eat something delicious." Prince Charming, did you bring me something delicious? Give me a few pieces of golden cake first. It'll be down. Dee Biming sneered, "Black thing, I think it'll be better if you eat some chili noodles." Yun Chujo was instantly dumbfounded. It's over. She was exposed. How did the gigolo find out that she used chili to wipe her eyes? It was over. She had tortured the gigolo badly and even made him sing a lullaby for her. He would not let her off so easily. What should she do? This fellow's skin was unusually thick and she said nonchalantly, "Prince Charming, how did you know that I put chili on my face? You really have a divine plan." It was like this. At that time I felt extremely uncomfortable, but I wanted to cry but there were no tears. I was afraid that I would be sullen, so I could only use chili to urge my tears, to release my sad emotions. Dee Biming was furious. "Black thing, you really know how to spout nonsense. You even lied to me and said that you were heartbroken? You even said that you don't want to live anymore. Didn't you want to hit the wall? Go ahead and hit it." Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and pouted, "Prince Charming, you really disappointed me. I didn't expect you to be such a heartless Prince Charming. Fine. I'll hit the wall now. If you have the ability, then don't stop me." Dee Biming snorted. "Don't worry. I won't stop you." Yun Chujo jumped down from the bed and hugged Dee Biming's arm. She shouted shamelessly, "My Prince Charming, didn't you say you won't stop me? Then why are you pulling my arm? Let go of me, I must do this today." Dee Biming was speechless. Yun Chujo was flexible. She said obsequiously, "Prince Charming, it's wrong for me to use chili to tear up, but there's something wrong with you too. Let's call it even. Humans aren't saints, how can there not be mistakes? I promise I won't do it again. Please forgive me and let this slide." Dee Biming looked at Yun Chujia's shameless look and could not bring himself to teach her a lesson. He could only snort coldly, "It won't happen again." Yun Chujo made a victory sign in her heart. To deal with this kind of arrogance, she had to be a little more thick-skinned. After all, honor was not worth anything. If she lost it, so be it. Chapter 330. You want die with me around. Yoon Chujio held Di Biming's arm and hopped out of the house. And Fong could not help but give Yoon Chujio a thumbs up in his heart. Miss Jo is really something. When we went in, he wanted to eat people. Now the clouds have turned sunny. And Fong, please help me install the door. Otherwise my Prince Charming will catch a cold at night. I'll feel sorry for him. Yoon Chujio said with a smile. And Fong was faced with a slew of public affection. He started to install the door sadly. As for where the door came from, well, he took it from the other yard. Idol, are you tired? Let me massage your shoulders. Idol, are you thirsty? Let me make you a pot of tea. Idol, are you bored? Let me tell you a joke. Yoon Chujio followed the principle of giving a sweet date with a slap one and tried her best to please Di Biming. The resentment in Di Biming's heart was instantly replaced by a pink, happy bubble. He felt that it would be great if Black Thing was by his side every day from then on. Only such days would be lively and more enjoyable. Yoon Chujio saw that it was almost time, so she said pitifully, Idol, are you hungry? Let's have dinner. Di Biming was in a good mood, so he did not make things difficult for her. He immediately took out the prepared food and the two of them began to eat dinner. After dinner, Yoon Chujio said smugly, my idol, I got a little thing from the Secret Realm trial a few days ago. It's really fun. And Fong had reported to Di Biming about Yoon Chujio's participation in the trial, but Fong did not know about Furry, so Di Biming raised his eyebrows. What little thing is fun? Furry, come out. Meet my idol. The ball of yarn had long been shameless for food. When it heard Yoon Chujio's call, it immediately flew out from between Yoon Chujio's eyebrows. Dear master. I'm coming. Di Biming looked at ball of yarn on the ground. What was this thing? A ball of yarn had turned into a spirit? Prince Charming, this ball of yarn is Furry. Isn't it fun? Furry, roll a few times to make Prince Charming happy. If you perform well, I'll reward you with some delicious food. Furry had long forgotten about its integrity as a spirit and immediately rolled on the ground. This is a spirit? Di Biming's eyes twitched. Why did this spirit look so unreliable? Other than acting cute, there was probably nothing else it could do. Yoon Chujio nodded. My Prince Charming, don't think that Furry is a weakling. Once I find the other 7 fragments of the Void Mirror, I'll be rich. Di Biming was confused and asked, Void Mirror? Fragments? What do you mean? Yoon Chujio told him about the Void Mirror and Di Biming, and the other two were surprised. Was that not too heaven-defying? She only participated in the trial to pick some spiritual herbs, so it was fine if she got some demonic cores. This guy was great. It just gave her a whole nest of them. If the 4 great sects knew that the trial place was monopolized by someone, they would have to find Yoon Chujio. Yoon Chujio suddenly sighed. Pursing her lips, she said, Prince Charming, although it's a good thing to have an artifact, but that damn mirror and that strange grass aren't under my control. This ball of wool is said to be a spirit and has the ability to control space, but it can't even control the mystic realm. Di Biming frowned. He had browsed through a lot of information and asked some mighty figures. However, he had never heard of a situation like hers. Originally, that grass was already difficult to deal with. Now a great void mirror was living in her. It was really a case of one wave rising before the other. Yoon Chujio was rather open-minded. She giggled and said, Prince Charming, you don't have to worry. At worst it's just death. I'll earn a day every day I live. What's the point of thinking so much? Di Biming's expression changed and he shouted angrily, What nonsense are you spouting? With this me here you want die. If a demon wants to kill you, I will eliminate it. If a god wants to kill you, I will destroy it. Even if the heavens wants to destroy you, even if I have to defy the heavens, I won't allow it to touch you in the slightest. Chapter 331. Blockhead Yoon Chujio was stunned. Although when the lightning struck her last time, Di Biming had risked his life to save her, and she had already confirmed Di Biming's feelings toward her. When Di Biming said those words, Yoon Chujio still felt that a corner of her frozen heart had collapsed. Although the gigolo is tsundere and he might not understand what love is, but he's sincere toward me. Although he's a little arrogant, he could still slowly get rid of that habit. Yoon Chujia's eyes were sparkling as she looked at Di Biming. Prince Charming, I was just joking. I Yoon Chujio am very tough. If anyone dares to kill me, I'll use lightning to kill him. If the two unlucky things in my dantian wants to harm me, I'll give up my dantian and get them out of my body. Di Biming's expression softened. Don't worry, Black Thing. I'll definitely find a way for you. Yes, my Prince Charming. I believe in you. Yoon Chujio blinked her starry eyes and looked at Di Biming trustfully. And Feng and An had to face the public display of affection. The two of them looked at each other and ran to a corner to pass time. The sky gradually darkened. Yoon Chujio took a nap in the afternoon and was not sleepy at all. She shamelessly got Di Biming to sit on the roof and look at the stars with her. The corners of An Feng and An's eyes twitched. Only Miss Jo would dare to make our Lord do such a stupid thing. Yoon Chujio put her arm behind her head and lay on the roof. She said with a smile, Prince Charming, look at the starry sky and the crescent moon. How beautiful they are. Di Biming hummed lightly. In his opinion, he did not see what was so beautiful about some stars and the moon. He might as well go into the house and cultivate. Prince Charming, I hope that we'll be together for a long time. We're under the same starry sky. When I'm not by your side, you can look at the moon and the stars. Maybe I'm also looking at the stars. Yoon Chujio decided to cultivate the romantic cells in the gigolo. Then why bother? Don't you know that I have a voice transmission talisman? Di Biming said with slight disdain. Yoon Chujio did not have any words. Damn it, this blockhead doesn't know what romance is. Yoon Chujio tilted her head and glared at Di Biming. Then her heart started to stir. Under the starlight, Di Biming was less tough and more gentle. His entire person was like a statue with a glowing body. It tickled the little pervert, Yoon Chujio's heart. This pervert was extremely lecherous. She pounced on Di Biming and said, Gorgeous man, how can you let down such a beautiful scene? Come, let's relish this moment. Di Biming was stunned at first, then he waved his sleeve. And Feng and An, who were watching the show, were immediately cut off from their six senses. Di Biming turned over and pressed Yoon Chujio under his body. The hot kiss fell like a storm. After a long while, Di Biming stopped his dizzying touches and said in a hoarse voice, Black Thing, you seduced me. Humph. I'm sleepy. I'm going back to the house to sleep. Yoon Chujio pouted her slightly red and swollen lips and jumped off the roof. She ran into the house as if she was running away. She was being teased instead of being the teaser. It was so embarrassing. Di Biming looked at Yoon Chujio's panicked back and could not help but laugh at the sky. Turns out that Black Thing was also shy. It's really cute. Di Biming jumped down from the roof and followed her into the house. And Feng and An finally returned to normal. And Feng whispered, Our honorable sir must have been molested by Miss Jo again. I didn't expect our honorable sir to be so good at this. Before An could say anything, Di Biming said coldly, And Feng, it seems that you have been too free recently. I heard that there is a polar region to the north of the Qingxian continent. The polar ice fish there are delicious. Go and hunt 100 of them. Chapter 332. A lullaby from the Prince Charming. When Yoon Chujio heard about the food, she immediately added, How can 100 of them be enough? And Feng, get more. It's best if you can get some prawns or crabs. If there are any snow lotuses or snow ginseng, get me a few hundred of them too. And Feng was about to cry. Who told you to be mean? Who told you to be talkative? The northern polar region was extremely cold. If he went there, he would definitely be frozen into an ice sculpture. Moreover, there were many demonic beasts in the region and they were very ferocious. If he were to go there, he would definitely be skinned alive. Your Excellency, Miss Jo, I was wrong. I will not spout nonsense next time. Please spare me this time. And Feng immediately began to beg for mercy. Di Biming snorted coldly and did not speak. Yoon Chujio blinked her eyes and sighed, and Feng, actually, I also sympathize with you. But about that, you have to show some respect, don't you? And Feng immediately understood and said painfully, Miss Jo, my storage ring is too small. I really can't fit 10,000 low-grade spirit stones in it. Why don't you keep it for me first? 10,000? You can keep it yourself. You'd better go fishing. Yoon Chujio said with slight disdain. And Feng gritted his teeth. Miss Zhou, I remembered wrongly. It's 100,000. Yun Chuzhou giggled. Prince Charming, I think Feng must been talking nonsense just now. Please don't argue with him. I'll help you massage your shoulders. Let's not lower ourselves to his level. Di Biming saw Yun Chuzhou winking at him with all her might, and the corners of his mouth curled up. It won't happen again. And Feng wiped the cold sweat off his forehead, and in his heart, he raised Yun Chuzhou's status by another level. The decision made by their esteemed lord was something that even the hall master and the hall master's wife could not change. He did not expect that the she would be able to change his mind so easily. In the future, the she might not only be a concubine, but might even become their esteemed empress. Inside the house, Yun Chuzhou was massaging Di Biming's shoulders with all her might. As she massaged his shoulders, she mumbled, Prince Charming, why are your shoulders so hard? Let me see. Are they all muscles? This little pervert did not know how to take a beating. She had long forgotten about the embarrassing incident just now. As she spoke, she wanted to strip Di Biming of his clothes. Di Biming's expression was unnaturally angry as he scolded. How dare you touch me? There's no need to massage anymore. Turn off the lights and go to sleep. Yun Chuzhou pouted, if you don't want a massage, then so be it. It just so happens that my hands are sore from massaging it anyway. Humph. After the two of them washed up, Yun Chuzhou climbed into the bed and laid down obediently. Then she said with starry eyes, Prince Charming, sing me a lullaby. Just sing the one you sang during the day. Just change mother's baby to my little Jiu. Di Biming snorted coldly. I haven't settled scores with you yet. How dare you bring this up? Yun Chuzhou buried her head in Di Biming's arms. Prince Charming, it's my fault for lying to you. But your singing is so good. I've never heard such a good lullaby before. Can you sing it for me again? When Yun Chuzhou acted coquettishly, Di Biming felt his whole body go numb. Even if he were to die then and there, he would probably be happy. He coughed awkwardly. Lie down. I will reluctantly sing once for you. But after this time, it will not happen again. Yun Chuzhou acknowledged, but what she thought in her heart, HMPH, if I can make you sing once or twice, then I can make you sing for me every day. This is just the beginning. We'll see. Di Biming's face flushed red as he began to sing. Yun Chuzhou, this fellow took an inch and then a mile. She said, Prince Charming, I still can't fall asleep. Pat me gently while you sing. Chapter 333. Successor disciple Di Biming glared at her, but his hands were slowly and rhythmically patting Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou yawned and quickly fell asleep. Di Biming kissed her on the forehead and slowly fell asleep. The next morning, Elder Chu's voice came from Yun Chuzhou's identity jade token. All disciples gather at the southern Jade Square in an hour. Yun Chuzhou had breakfast and bid Di Biming goodbye. She stood on the chopping board and left the courtyard. When Yun Chuzhou arrived, many disciples were already gathered at the southern Jade Square. When they saw Yun Chuzhou flying over, the new disciples greeted her one after another. She smiled and waved at everyone. Then she jumped down from the chopping board and ran to Yun Chu and the others. Not long after, Master Xianyuan and the 5 peak masters also arrived with the elders. According to the results of this new disciple trial, you will be redistributed. I hope that you'll continue to cultivate in the future and become the backbone of Spirit Radiance sect as soon as possible. Now, Elder Chu will announce the specific names. Master Xianyuan said briefly, then he asked Elder Chu to announce the names. The champion of this trial, Yun Chuzhou, has been directly promoted from a kitchen servant to Elder Sun Bazhong's successor disciple. Boom! Elder Chu's words were like a bucket of cold water poured into a pot of oil. The disciples of Spirit Radiance sect instantly exploded with commotion. The new disciples who participated in the trial were slightly better off. After all, they were very impressed that Yun Chuzhou was able to obtain the inner core of a Tier 8 demonic beast. However, those old disciples were very dissatisfied. On what basis? A mere servant at the 4th level of spirit enhancement actually became a true disciple in one step. Moreover, Elder Sun Bazhong had been in secluded cultivation. How could they possibly accept Yun Chuzhou as a true disciple? One had to know that Elder Sun did not even have one single true disciple. How many inner disciples had sharpened their skills to become Elder Sun's true disciple without success? What did this Yun Chujo have? Silence. From the 2nd to the 30th place in this trial, Liaochuan, Emozwa, by Mayu, by Mor, Yun Chuzi, Yun Chushan, Yun Chu, Yun Chulu, Yun Chuki, Yun Chuba, Qingxi, Su Yun, Chandachuan, Xiamufeng Yunjin. They were promoted to inner disciples. From the 30th to the 30th place, they are outer disciples. The rest of them are servants. Yun Chujo heard the names of the Bai siblings and Yun Chushan, and then she remembered what the three of them had done in the mystic realm. She could not mention the part where they framed Yun Chu, or else it might attract the suspicion of Elder Zhang of Heavenly Gates sect. It might not be a good idea to mention the part where they ran away in the face of battle either. They would use the excuse that she could escape by crushing the jade token. Looks like she would have to wait for another opportunity to get rid of them. After the meeting ended, Chen Duchuan and the other 8 people went to Yun Chujia's side and thanked her one after another. Junior sister Little Jiao, thank you very much. If you hadn't chased Su Yen ran away at that time, we wouldn't have been able to gather so many jade bell flowers, and we wouldn't have been able to advance to an inner sect disciple. In the future, if you need us in any way, just let us know. Yun Chujiao looked at these 8 people. As expected, they were the few disciples of Spirit Radiance sect who did not follow Bai Mayu and the others at that time. That could be considered an indirect reward for not following the others. You're all too polite. You obtained all of this with your true abilities. There's no need to thank me. I hope that everyone will take good care of me in the future. Yun Chujiao said with a smile. When Chan Dachuan and the others saw that Yun Chujiao was so good with words, their impression of Yun Chujiao became even better. In addition, she was now a core disciple, so everyone became even more friendly toward her. From afar, Bai Mora glared at Yun Chujiao and cursed in a low voice, "This is dog shit. She's just lucky. A core disciple at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm. What a joke." Chapter 334. Teach me how to concoct pills. By Moya's eyes flickered a few times. Moru, watch your mouth. Yun Chujiao will be in big trouble very soon. Yanren's cousin will definitely pin Zhang Xiong's death on Yun Chujiao. Elder Zhang and the Heavenly Gates sect will not let this go so easily. Bai Moru stomped her feet hatefully. Brother, I understand. But this Yun Chujiao is really difficult to deal with. Can Elder Zhang do it? The Heavenly Gates sect has long been dissatisfied with our Spirit Radiance sect. They just happen to use this as an excuse to make things difficult for us. I don't believe that the sect leader and the others will really have a fallout with the Heavenly Gates sect over Yun Chujiao. Yun Chujiao must die this time. Bai Moyu said with certainty. Oh right, there's the few male disciples who have just been promoted to the inner sect. If you have nothing to do, go and get in touch with them. It'll be useful in the future. Bai Moya's eyes flashed as he instructed. Yun Chushan was now obedient to the Bai siblings, so she naturally had no objections. Bai Moru was also happily enjoying the feeling of being adored by everyone, so she also happily agreed. Yun Chujiao finally got rid of the enthusiastic Chan Dachuan and the others, and was once again surrounded by Yun Chuzi and company. After a few moments, Su Yun also joined Yun Chu and the others. She said excitedly, "Junior sister Little Jiao, it's all thanks to the things you gave us. Otherwise, how would we be able to rank in the top 30? After killing Zhang Xiong and the other 3, Yun Chujiao gave the spoils of war to Yun Chu and the other 2. She asked them to divide the spoils equally among Yun Chuzi and the others. Yun Chujiao said seriously, "Senior sister Su Yun, brothers and sisters, you must keep your mouth shut about the spoils of war that I gave you. You must remember that these things were either obtained by yourselves or picked up by others. Do you understand?" Su Yun and the others were stunned at first. Then they understood Yun Chujia's intention and nodded. "Little Jiao, we understand. I'm going to the Spirit Herb Garden to look for Elder Qi. We'll talk another day. All of you have to cultivate properly. Don't let others take us as a joke." Yun Chujiao instructed and flew to the Spirit Herb Garden on the chopping board. Elder Qi. Elder Qi. I've brought you something good." Elder Qi laughed bitterly. "Little ancestor Yun, don't pull my leg. What good thing can you give me?" You've almost taken away all the medicinal herbs out of my spirit herb garden. Yun Chujo laughed dryly. Elder Qi, didn't I say it? I'm just an ordinary disciple of Spirit Radiance sect. Don't let it slip next time. I did borrow a lot of medicinal herbs from you, but I've really brought you something good this time. La la la, what do you think this is? Elder Qi looked at it casually and then cried out in surprise, This is the fruit of the golden thread grass? Where did you get it? I got it by accident during the trial. You can use it to refine spirit replenishing pills. Yun Chujo said with a smile. Elder Qi excitedly took the fruit. Little Joe, what compensation do you want? As long as I have it, I'll give it to you. Yun Chujo shook her head. Last time, it was because of my negligence that the fruit was snatched by the red-clothed pervert. I'm trying to make up for my mistake. I don't need any compensation. Elder Qi saw that Yun Chujo was reasonable, so he was really not used to it for a moment. Elder Qi, teach me how to refine pills. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. It was really too troublesome to secretly refine pills. Elder Qi was short-handed. Moreover, he originally wanted to train Yun Chujo to be an apprentice alchemist. Now that Yun Chujo had spiritual power, it was not impossible for her to try refining pills. Yun Chujo had a heavenly thunder root spirit. Perhaps she really had the talent to refine pills. However, when Elder Qi thought of the poisonous smoke incident that Manager Gao had reported to him, he was somewhat uncertain. Was Yun Chujo really of pill refining material? Chapter 335. Would definitely not release any poisonous smoke this time. How about this, little Joe? I'll first teach you the simplest hemostatic pill to see if you have the potential to refine pills. Come with me. Elder Qi brought Yun Chujo directly to the pill refining room up front. Manager Gao saw that Elder Qi had arrived and hurriedly came forward to welcome him. Elder Qi, is there anything you need? Open up an alchemy room. I want to teach Yun Chujo how to refine a hemostatic pill. What the hell? The surrounding disciples were instantly shocked. Elder Qi was a grade 8 alchemist. Not just in Spirit Radiance Sect 2. He was one of the few in the entire Qingxian continent. Now, he actually wanted to personally teach Yun Chujo how to refine a grade 1 hemostatic pill. Was that not overdoing it? He could just find someone else to teach her, right? Moreover, was Yun Chujo not already accepted as Elder Sun's personal disciple? Why did Elder Qi still want to teach her? Everyone's gaze is shifted to Ding Lang, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Although Ding Lang was Elder Qi's true disciple, Elder Qi was always focused on refining pills and rarely gave him pointers. Now, he was personally giving pointers to an outsider like Yun Chujo. Master, the hemostasis pill is only a grade 1 pill. There's no need to trouble you to do this. Let me teach Yun Chujo. A trace of malice flashed through Ding Lang's eyes. This Yun Chujo first became enemies with my younger brother, and now she's trying to humiliate me. Sooner or later, it'll cripple her. Elder Qi felt that Ding Lang's words were not without reason, so he nodded. Alright, since that's the case, I'll let you demonstrate and I'll explain it to little Joe. Ding Lang felt even more uncomfortable in his heart. You've never cared about me this much. What kind of bewitching potion did Yun Chujo give you that you're actually so partial to her? Ding Lang demonstrated the refining method for the hemostasis pill. An hour later, Ding Lang opened the lid of the pill furnace, and a wave of medicinal fragrance wafted into the pill refining room. The disciples gathered around and cried out in surprise when they saw the pills at the bottom of the pill furnace. Heavens! An 80% success rate, and 6 of them are high-grade pills. Senior brother Ding Lang is indeed our Middle Peaks Alchemy senior. Such a success rate is too amazing. That's right, senior brother Ding Lang will advance to a grade 5 alchemist very soon. Such a talent can be said to be rare in Qingxian continent. Elder Qi nodded slightly. Ding Lang's aptitude was not bad, but he was a little impetuous. Yun Chujo, do you want to give it a try? Ding Lang pretended to be enthusiastic as he asked. Sure. This pill refinement isn't that difficult. It looks like it's similar to the kanji in the big kitchen, and it's not as troublesome as stir-frying vegetables, Yun Chujo said with a smile. Since that's the case, Then come over and try it. Ding Lang said disdainfully. Humph. She's just a good-for-nothing at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm. Does she really think that pill refinement is that simple? I want to see how she will lose her honor. Elder Qi frowned slightly. Why is this Ding Lang so reckless? Yun Chuju just watched it once. How could she possibly pick it up? This little Jiu is too much too. Did she really think that refining pills was that easy? However, it's also good in a way. She would be able to stay calm in the future if her spirit was dampened. Yun Chujo walked to the front of the pill furnace and prepared to refine pills. Manager Gao suddenly said, Yun Chujo, wait a moment. Everyone, quickly prepare the cloth and handkerchief, or else you might suffer later. Elder Qi, you should also make some preparations. Every time this Yun Chujo concocts pills we burst into tears. It's simply comparable to poisonous smoke. Yun Chujo touched her nose unnaturally and coughed dryly. Don't worry. Don't worry. This time it won't happen. I was just fooling around previously. With Elder Qi's explanation this time I've already understood everything. I definitely won't release any poisonous smoke this time. The more Yun Chujo said that, the more worried the surrounding disciples became. Sure enough, everyone took out a piece of cloth and prepared to cover their mouths and noses for a while. Chapter content: add media visual text paragraph. The corners of Elder Qi's eyes could not help but twitch. Although he did not make any moves because of his identity as an elder, he was even more uncertain about Yun Chujo. It seemed that little Joe was really not the type to refine pills. Chapter 336. This was impossible. Yun Chujo opened the alchemy furnace in a decent manner. First, she put in 2 portions of snake vines, then half of the lotus seeds, and then 1 portion of Tsingling Virginia rhizome. Elder Qi nodded slightly. Yun Chuji's memory was quite heaven-defying. The quantity and order of the herbs were exactly the same. Ding Lang, who was at the side, curled his lips in disdain. Alchemy was not a memorization exercise. The most important thing was the control of spiritual power. If the spiritual power was not well controlled, even if the herbs were put in the right place, it would be useless. Yun Chujo began to form a seal and slowly inject spiritual power into it. It looked decent. Everyone looked at each other in puzzlement. It seemed that Yun Chujo would not produce poisonous smoke this time. It seemed that this step and everything else were done correctly. Just as everyone nodded their heads, Yun Chujo opened the lid of the pill furnace, picked up a few snake vines and threw them in. After a while, she opened the lid of the pill furnace again and threw in a few lotus seeds. Everyone's lips could not help but twitch. Did this person really think that pill refinement was the same as stir-frying vegetables? If it was bland, she would put in some salt, but if it was bitter, she would put in some sugar? The greatest taboo in pill refinement was to open the lid of the pill furnace midway. Not only would this cause the heat to dissipate, it would also waste spiritual energy. This pill would definitely be useless. Elder Qi also shook his head slightly. However, this was little Jo's first time refining, so it was inevitable that she would make mistakes. After all, an average person would only succeed after failing at least 1,000 times in pill refinement. Ding Lang's eyes flashed with pride. This Yun Chujo did not even know the most basic knowledge of refining pills. Sooner or later, her master would lose patience with her. At that time he would cripple her with little bits of tricks. After a quarter of an hour, Yun Chujo withdrew her spiritual power and said with a smile, "Success." As Yun Chujo said this, she was about to open the lid of the pill furnace. "Wait. Yun Chujo, it will take at least an hour to refine the hemostasis pill. It's not the time yet. I'm afraid that the herbs inside are probably all just juice." Manager Gao kindly reminded Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo giggled. Cooking can be divided into cooking with big and small fires. You guys simmer it slowly over a small fire, which I stir-fry it in a hurry. The effect is the same. The corner of Manager Gao's eyes twitched. What nonsense! Can stir-frying and pill refinement be the same? Everyone also curled their lips. This Yun Chujo really did not know what was good for her. Manager Gao was right. Before the time was up, the medicinal herb juice definitely would not take shape. It would take at least an hour. There had never been anyone who could refine a cauldron of pills in a quarter of an hour. This Yun Chujio was just waiting to be slapped in the face. Elder Chi did not say anything because from his point of view, the cauldron of pills was definitely useless. It did not matter if it was open earlier or later. After all, it was her first time refining, so it was normal for her to fail. Yun Chujio opened the lid of the cauldron with a smile. Immediately, a rich medicinal fragrance filled the air. Everyone thought to themselves, they did not expect the medicinal liquid to be quite so fragrant. Meddlesome disciples went forward and looked at the bottom of the alchemy furnace with disdain. Then they were all dumbfounded. Ding Lang saw that everyone was stunned. He could not help but curl his lips in disdain. These idiots. It's just some medicinal juice. Could it be that they thought Yun Chujio could really refine pills? Elder Chi saw that Yun Chujio was still smiling and was not affected by the blow. He nodded slightly. This child's mentality was not bad. Thus, he said encouragingly, "Little Joe, refining pills isn't that easy. You have to go through thousands of failures before you can succeed. It doesn't matter if you fail this time. Continue to work hard in the future." At that moment, a disciple cried out, "No, this is impossible." This disciple's cry seemed to have woken up the rest of the stunned crowd. They also began to cry out. Chapter 337. One-hit wonder. How is this possible? How can Yun Chujio have 100% success rate? Yeah, and there are 8 high-grade pills. It's even better than senior brother Ding Lang's success rate and quality. How's this possible? Ding Lang heard them and shouted angrily, "You guys are talking nonsense. How can Yun Chujio?" Ding Lang walked closer, and when he saw the pills at the bottom of the pill furnace, he stopped talking. He saw that there were 10 round hemostatic pills at the bottom of the pill furnace. 8 of them were high grade and 2 were middle grade. Impossible. How could this trash of a person, Yun Chujio, be more powerful than a 4th grade alchemist like him? This was impossible. When Elder Chi heard the crowd's discussion, he also came forward to take a look. An extremely shocked expression plastered his face. After being stunned for a moment, his heart shook violently. That's right. Elder Duanmu had once said that heavenly root spirits might have a hidden talent. Could it be that Yun Chujio's talent was not a photographic memory, but an astonishing talent in pill refinement? Elder Chi took out the medicinal pill at the bottom of the pill refinement cauldron and sniffed it carefully. It was true. That was a high-grade hemostatic pill. "Little Joe, refine another cauldron," Elder Chi said with a trembling voice. Yun Chujio was a little dumbfounded. She had already taken it easy. She did not even make a supreme grade item, yet it was still so sensational. Was she too strong, or were these people too weak? Yun Chujio started making a second batch. Ding Lang came back to his senses and thought to himself that perhaps the previous batch was a lucky coincidence. This batch would definitely fail. It would definitely. The surrounding disciples also felt that the situation was a little unbelievable. Although Yun Chujio had come to the alchemy room to fiddle around a few times before, she had failed every time. How could she be so heaven-defying all of a sudden? Could it be that it was just a coincidence? Yun Chujio did the same thing and added medicinal herbs into the alchemy furnace at a leisurely pace. Then she continued to add a few medicinal herbs from time to time. 15 minutes later, the rich medicinal fragrance once again filled the entire alchemy room. Elder Chi rushed to the front impatiently. With trembling hands, he opened the lid of the cauldron. 10 round pills appeared at the bottom of the cauldron. It was still 100% success rate. 8 high-grade pills and 2 middle-grade pills. The crowd immediately burst into an uproar. It could be said that the first time was a fluke, but the result was the same both times. This could only mean that Yun Chujio was truly a genius in pill refining. It seems like the reason why Yun Chujio released the poisonous smoke in the past was because she was experimenting. Once she had the guidance of a master teacher, she was then heading down the correct path. That's right. Junior sister Little Joe's perseverance is worth learning from. Every time junior sister Little Joe came to practice, she would carry a huge sack of medicinal herbs on her back. The poisonous smoke was so terrifying, but she wasn't afraid at all and continued to persevere. This is the power of perseverance. In the future, junior sister Little Joe will be my idol. She will definitely become Qingxian continent's pride in the future. Elder Qi was stunned for a moment before he laughed out loud. Good. Good. In the future you will learn alchemy from me, little Jiu. With your talent you'll soon surpass me. Yun Chujo said with a smile. Elder Qi, how can I compare to you? As long as I can learn half of your abilities, I'll be satisfied. Elder Qi said, Good. Good. If it wasn't because of your identity, I would definitely take you in as my last disciple. However, this isn't a big deal. From tomorrow onward, as long as you have the time, come and look for me. I'll teach you everything that I've learned in my life. Ding Lang was so angry that his face turned ashen. With great difficulty, he suppressed his jealousy and asked with a smile, Master, then can I follow Yun Chujo and learn from you too? Elder Qi frowned slightly. You'd better practice on your own first. I've taught you everything I can. What's left is personal comprehension and practice. Little Joe, let's go. Follow me back to the Spirit Herb Garden. I need to ask you a few questions. Looking at Elder Qi and Yun Chujius bouncing back, Ding Lang's eyes turned red with anger. Very good, old man. Smelly girl. Since you've humiliated me like this, don't blame me for being merciless. Chapter 338. Why is the pill furnace missing? Elder Qi brought Yun Chujo back to his residence. After opening the isolation array, he asked Little Jiu, why do you add medicinal herbs into the pill furnace from time to time? Elder Qi, only you would ask me to tell the truth. Actually, I discovered that the quality of the medicinal pills is closely related to the purification of the medicinal herbs. I used my spiritual sense to sense the changes in the medicinal herbs, and then added the medicinal herbs according to the needs. What? Are you kidding me? Elder Qi thought that there was something wrong with his ears. A person's spiritual sense was extremely fragile, and the temperature in the pill furnace was extremely high. Sending one's spiritual sense into the pill furnace was basically no different from committing suicide. Why you said to send one's spiritual sense into the pill furnace? Elder Qi felt that he must have misheard. Yes. It's so warm and comfortable. Elder Qi, you can try it next time. Yun Chujo said with a smile. Elder Qi shook his head like a rattledrum. His spiritual sense was already damaged, so he did not want to court death. That was right. She had a heaven-defying thunder root spirit. She was not even afraid of being struck by lightning, let alone this some earth fire. Elder Qi sighed and then said, refining pills in the pill refining room isn't a long-term solution. I have a pill furnace that I used in the past. Although the quality isn't great, it's enough for you to use as a beginner. Elder Qi took out a pill furnace from his storage ring and handed it to Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo looked at it and knew that this pill furnace was very old. She then said with a straight face, Elder Qi, this pill furnace alone isn't enough. I still need refining flints. Please give me 100 or so refining flints. The corner of Elder Qi's mouth twitched slightly. This Yun Chujo really squeezed each opportunity dry. He heard that she won 2 million spirit stones from the Heavenly Gate sect, and she was even greedy for his refining flints. Elder Qi had no choice but to give Yun Chujo 100 pieces of refining flints, and then said, now, I'll explain the refining method for stasis dissolving pills to you. Elder Qi explained and demonstrated, and finally refined 10 stasis dissolving pills, 8 upper grade pills and 2 middle grade pills. Little Joe, you try it. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. She could not be more powerful than Elder Qi, right? Then she better hide it. Thus, Yun Chujo finally refined 10 stasis dissolving pills, but 7 of them were high grade and 3 were middle grade. Elder Qi was ecstatic. Haha, genius. Indeed a genius in pill refining. Little Joe, your future is limitless. Hurry up and cultivate. As your spiritual power increases, the variety of pills you can refine will increase. Yun Chujo nodded. Elder Qi, I understand. Then I'll head back first today. I'll come by to bother again when I have time. It's not a bother. It's not a bother. Other than the high-level spirit herbs in the Spirit Herb Garden, feel free to use the others. If there's anything you don't understand, feel free to ask me. Elder Qi now found Yun Chujo pleasing to the eye. If she was not the true disciple of Ancestor Linghua, He would have snatched her over to be his disciple no matter what. After Yun Chujo thanked him, she wrote on the chopping board and returned to the dormitory. Prince Charming. Prince Charming. I'm back. Did you miss me? Does it feel like it's been 3 years since we last saw each other? Yun Chujo started to shout as soon as she entered the courtyard. Di Biming was drinking tea when he heard Yun Chujia's words. He almost choked. Cough cough. Black thing, can't you be more calm? How are you a girl if you're constantly acting crazy? Don't you like my craziness? If I change, I'm afraid you'll regret it. Yun Chujo moved to Di Biming's side and said with a cheeky smile. Then she snatched Di Biming's teacup and drank from it. Di Biming saw that Yun Chujo had finished drinking, so he poured another cup and continued drinking the tea nonchalantly. And Feng gestured at an een with his mouth. When the Honorable Sir met Miss Zhou, he had long forgotten all that nonsense about cleanliness. If it was anyone else who touched the teacup with their hands, the Honorable Sir would not even be able to take the teacup, let alone drink the tea. What did you do today? Di Biming asked indifferently. The results from the trial was announced. Oh right, I even pretended to learn alchemy from Elder Qi. He even gave me an alchemy furnace that he used. I'll take it out for you to see. Huh? Why is the alchemy furnace missing? That's strange. Yun Chujo exclaimed. Chapter 339. It was a monster. Yun Chujo rummaged through the storage ring for a long time. I clearly put it in this storage ring. How did it disappear? What the hell? Di Biming frowned slightly. Could it be that you put it in the other 2 storage rings? Yun Chujo used her divine sense to rummage through it again. No, the other 2 don't have it either. Could it be that the alchemy furnace could grow legs and run away? Even if it had legs, it wouldn't be able to run away. At that time, the rolling pin said weakly, Master. Master. I'll report it. Yun Chujo took out the rolling pin from the storage ring. Little Flame, what happened? The rolling pin said with a sobbing voice, Master. I agreed to it, but please don't put me and the monster in the same ring in the future. I watched it eat the alchemy furnace. Monster? What monster? Yun Chujo was confused and asked. It's your other alchemy furnace. Sob sob, it's a monster. It's so scary. Sob sob, it scared me to death. The rolling pin was obviously scared. The other alchemy furnace? Yun Chujo took out an alchemy furnace from her storage ring. It was the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace that Di Biming gave her. Yun Chujo looked at it carefully and did not find anything unusual. Was this knit a higher grade alchemy furnace? The rolling pin said with a trembling voice, Master. Yes, that's it. It ate that alchemy furnace. Yun Chujo looked at Di Biming. Prince Charming. Can this Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace eat an alchemy furnace? Di Biming frowned. That's not possible. It's impossible for an alchemy furnace to have a weapon spirit. Moreover, even if it has a weapon spirit, it wouldn't eat other alchemy furnaces. Yun Chujo was a little doubtful. After all, the rolling pin would not lie. Moreover, the alchemy furnace that Elder Qi gave her had indeed mysteriously disappeared. There was no other explanation other than being eaten by the furnace. Just as Yun Chujo was puzzled, she heard a light burp in her consciousness. Who is it? Get out here. Yun Chujo asked with her spiritual sense. Then Yun Chujo heard baby-like sounds which seemed to be very happy. Yun Chujo was dumbfounded. Well, my God. Does the alchemy furnace really not have spiritual sense? Yun Chujo asked timidly. Of course not. Didn't I tell you before? Whether it was the earth fire or the refining flint, they all had the burning effect. That was why no alchemy furnace from ancient times ever produced a spirit. Besides, if the alchemy furnace has a spirit, how great will it be? Wouldn't that mean anyone can become a high-level alchemist? Di Biming said with certainty. Yun Chujo touched her chin and then coughed dryly. Well, my Prince Charming, I'm afraid this Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace is the first alchemy furnace with a spirit. Di Biming glared at her. Black thing, don't talk nonsense. How is this possible? Then let's test it out. Which one of you has an alchemy furnace in your storage ring? Take one out and see if the furnace eats it. Yun Chujo shrugged. Beiming and the other two really did not have an alchemy furnace in their storage rings. Yun Chujo suddenly remembered that she put Zhang Xiong's and the other two's storage bags into the storage ring that she got from Shui Wuji. She rummaged through the storage ring and found an alchemy furnace. She quickly took it out. Chapter 340. Glutton Pill Furnace. Yun Chujo placed the pill furnace and heaven and earth universal furnace on the stone table. Then she said with her divine sense, "Little baby, eat." The heaven and earth furnace did not move. And Feng could not help but say, "Miss Zhou, don't joke around. It's impossible for this pill furnace to have a spirit. Besides, even if it does, it's impossible for it to eat other pill furnaces." And Feng's words came to an abrupt end as the heaven and earth universal furnace slowly approached the other furnace. What was that? This thing could move on its own? Fuck, could this be a dream? And Feng pinched himself secretly, grimacing in pain. Seemed to be real. It was not a dream. Oh my god. Everything's incredible when it came to Miss Zhou. If people knew about the pill furnace that had a spirit, would they not fight over it? With such a pill furnace, the chances of forming pills would definitely increase greatly, and the quality of the pills would also be easier to control. However, it was true that it had a spirit. Did that mean it would gnaw on other furnaces? The four people's eyes were fixed on the stone table. Seeing that no one was stopping it, the heaven and earth universal furnace began to speed up. When it approached the other alchemy furnace, the part of the ordinary alchemy furnace that was close to it visibly softened. Finally, it turned into a liquid. Then, the lid of the heaven and earth furnace opened automatically, and the liquid went into the heaven and earth furnace's opening. Everyone was dumbfounded, and Feng in particular had his mouth wide open. His eyes were as wide as copper bells. That was not a freaking alchemy furnace. That was a monster. In a short while, that alchemy furnace had been eaten by the heaven and earth furnace. Yun Chujo stretched her neck and looked into it. There was nothing there, and she did not know where the juice had gone. Then, faint burps and cheerful babbling sounds could be heard in her spiritual sense. Yun Chujo laughed dryly. It's nothing. It's just a spirit. My rolling pin has a spirit too. Eating is normal as well. Even Furry and the rolling pin eats. The rolling pin said weakly, "Master, but I can't eat another pin? Master, please don't put me with that monster. I'm so scared." Yun Chujo said with a smile, "Don't worry. I guess it's not interested in you. It's just eating the alchemy furnace. Otherwise, it would have eaten you long ago. Prince Charming. Where did you get this heaven and earth universal furnace? I've never seen it eat before. It has been kept in the warehouse all this time. Nothing unusual has happened." Beiming thought to himself. Could it be that it was formed after being refined by this glutton? Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and said, "Prince Charming, are you using the isolation array now? Then I'll try to use this heaven and earth universal furnace to refine pills, and see how it differs from an ordinary alchemy furnace." Beiming nodded and asked An Feng and An Yin to increase their vigilance, and keep an eye on the situation outside. Yun Chujo thought about it, and decided to refine a level for exploding spirit pill, since she had never refined an exploding spirit pill before. Yun Chujo took out the flint stone and lit it. She then placed the furnace on it. Initially, Yun Chujo was worried that the spirit would be burned to death. However, she did not expect to hear a satisfied squeak from her consciousness. It was as pleasant as eating a cold watermelon on hot days. Chapter 341. Golden Pill Patterns. Yun Chujo added the herbs according to the steps. During the refining process, she used her spiritual sense to observe the degree of purification of the herbs. Then she added different types of herbs. It seemed that everything was no different from using other pill furnaces. Prince Charming. This furnace is no different from other pill furnaces. Could it be that it's just a foodie? Yun Chujo muttered. Open the lid of the furnace and take a look. Beiming felt that the heaven and earth universal furnace would definitely not be so simple. Yun Chujo slowly opened the lid of the furnace, and instantly, the entire small courtyard was filled with an extremely rich medicinal fragrance. Oh my god! Miss Jo, this is too exaggerated. I feel that spiritual power is drilling into my body just from smelling this medicinal fragrance. And Feng shouted in surprise. Yun Chujo took out a pill from the bottom of the pill furnace and looked at it. Those with pill patterns are super-grade pills, but they're gray in color. What does this golden pill pattern mean then? Di Biming shook his head. He had never heard of pills with golden pill patterns before. The strange grass in Yun Chujia's dantian suddenly became excited and kept clamoring to eat the pills. You foodie! You only know how to eat all day long. Yun Chujo muttered a few words, then picked up a piece of pill and swallowed it like candy. The strange grass did not stop even after having the pill and still clamored to have more. Yun Chujo stuffed the pill into her mouth one by one, and in the end, there was only one left. And Feng took it and said, Miss Jo, let me test the efficacy of this pill. And Feng swallowed the pill with golden patterns. Then he realized that the spiritual energy in the small courtyard was crazily surging into Feng's body. Di Biming simply waved his sleeve and withdrew the isolation array. And Feng could see the spiritual energy within 1,000 feet surging toward him. After a quarter of an hour, Feng stood up and said excitedly, Oh my God! Is this an explosive spirit pill? It's even more overbearing than the level 7 spirit gathering pill I've eaten before. If I take this when I'm fighting enemies, I'll definitely be able to quickly replenish my spiritual power. Miss Jo, please hurry up and refine a few more furnaceful and give me a few bottles. Di Biming set up the isolation array again and said to Yun Chujo, Black Thing, don't use this heaven and earth furnace in front of others in the future. Otherwise it'll bring you trouble. Yun Chujo said with sparkling eyes, Got it. Prince Charming, you're so nice. I'll refine a few more pills for you. Di Biming's ears felt slightly hot, but he pretended to be calm. Yun Chujo did not stop refining a few more bottles of blood coagulation pills and explosive spirit pills. The strange grass in her dantian kept screaming hungry, hungry, hungry. Just feeding it needed more than 10 ordinary furnaces worth. Di Biming and the others were all dumbfounded. There was no need to even mention Yun Chujia's rate and quality of pill formation, but even her speed seemed to be increasing. What the hell? Originally, half a day was needed for normal pill refining. Yun Chujo needed a quarter of an hour at the beginning, and suddenly she only needed a quarter of that time. Yun Chujo was constantly seen working hard like Little Bee, constantly walking to and fro the furnace to add herbs. In the end, because there were no more refining flints and she had to stop. And Feng, go out and buy some flint for me. Then buy some herbs according to the list. Oh right. Get a few more ordinary pill furnaces to feed my little Tiantun. In order to get a few more bottles of these strange pills, and Feng eagerly went. He only remembered halfway that Miss Jo did not give him any spirit stones. Ah! Chapter 342. Strong deity turned soft and gentle in less than 2 hours, and Feng bought the items back and then said with an apologetic smile, Miss Jo, these things cost a total of 80,000 spirit stones. Have a look. Yun Chujo looked at him and said with a smile, Do you want 80,000 spirit stones or the one-of-kind pills that I refined for you? And Feng saw the look of disdain in his superior's eyes and immediately became terrified. Of course I want the pills. Miss Jo, please take it as if I was talking nonsense. Yun Chujo giggled, I'm kidding. I'm a reasonable person. We're friends. Why would I cheat you? Take it. Yun Chujo transferred 80,000 spirit stones to Feng and continued to make the pills. Feng and Yin were stunned. Friends? Miss Jo said that she was friends with them? They were the Lord's subordinates, and Miss Jo was a lady that the Lord liked. How could she treat them as friends? Although the women of Tianyuan continent wanted to get close to the Lord and please him, the disdain in their eyes toward them could not be hidden. Only Miss Jo did not treat them as servants. Di Biming looked at the two stunned people, and then shifted his gaze to Yun Chujo, who was focused on refining pills. With the increase of spiritual power, Yun Chujia's skin had become fair, especially her eyes, which were like a pool of spring water, bright and lively. Di Biming felt his heart beat faster and faster, thinking of the lingering words between the two. A certain someone's face turned red again. Yun Chujia's alchemy finally came to an end. Then, she fed the alchemy furnace that she bought to the heaven and earth furnace. The heaven and earth furnace was probably already full, so it only ate one alchemy furnace and stopped eating thereafter. Yun Chujio put it and the alchemy furnaces into her storage ring. The rolling pin did not dare to go in no matter what, so Yun Chujio could only put the rolling pin into another storage ring. Yun Chujio kept some pills for herself and gave some to Di Biming and the others. Then she touched her stomach and said, "Idol, let's have dinner. I'm starving." After the two of them had dinner and chatted for a while outside, Yun Chujio yawned and said that she was sleepy. Refining pills consumed a lot of spiritual power. Only a weirdo like Yun Chujio would be able to endure it. The two of them washed up briefly. Yun Chujio climbed to the side of the bed and yawned as she said, "Idol, sing the lullaby." Di Biming frowned. "Didn't we agree yesterday? I'll only sing it once. I won't sing it anymore." Di Biming thought to himself. He was a majestic overlord. How could he sing the lullaby for others? It would be so embarrassing if it got out. He could not sing it no matter what. Yun Chujio pouted. "Prince Charming, my hand is cramping from refining pills today. Who do you think I'm doing this for? Can't you feel a little sorry for me? Prince Charming, I beg you, just sing one more time." Di Biming's determination was immediately shaken. Should he sing one last time? "Prince Charming. My good Prince Charming, please pity me." "Okay." Yun Chujio hugged Di Biming's arm and shook it. Her little head rubbed against Di Biming's chest. Di Biming's determination had long disappeared as he hummed in a low voice, "The moon is bright, the wind is still, the leaves cover the window lattice. The crickets chirp, chirp, chirp like the sound of the zither strings. The sound of the zither is soft and melodious. The cradle is swaying gently. Ah, my little Joe, close your eyes, sleep with that. Sleep in your dream. Prince Charming, pat me." Di Biming could only raise his hand and pat Yun Chujio slowly and rhythmically as he sang. Yun Chujio was extremely proud in her heart. "Humph. Little fellow, no matter how strong your heart is, I can still turn you into a soft and gentle person. Little gigolo, sooner or later, you'll be my slave." Chapter 343. Residence the next day. Yun Chujio opened her eyes, feeling refreshed. Di Biming had woken up a long time ago. He was afraid that he would wake Yun Chujio up, so he just laid there and did not get up. Yun Chujio hugged Di Biming's neck and kissed his face. "Good morning, Prince Charming." Di Biming was overjoyed, but he said, "It's early in the morning. Don't mess around." Yun Chujio laughed evilly. "Tisk, my handsome man. Are you not happy that I kissed you? I simply must kiss you today." Yun Chujio pounced on Di Biming and gnawed his face. Di Biming felt that if he did not do anything, he would be worse than a beast. Hence, Yun Chujio left the house with red and swollen lips. Damn it. Damn gigolo. He usually looked sullen, but when he kissed her he was really fierce. "I can't go out today. Otherwise it would be hilarious if people saw me." And Feng and An saw Yun Chujio, so they quickly ran to the corner to pass time. Just after breakfast, the voice of the manager of the affairs office came from the identity jade token, asking all the new disciples to go to the affairs office to be reassigned to their departments and accommodation. Yun Chujio had no choice but to take out a gauze to cover her face and fly to the affairs department on the chopping board. When Yun Chu and the others saw Yun Chujio covered with the gauze, they could not help but ask curiously, "Little Joe, why are you covered with the gauze?" "Well, I have a rubella," Yun Chujio said with incomparable calmness. Everyone did not suspect her and only asked a few questions with concern. Yun Chujio quietly changed the topic and started to talk about the accommodation. The person in charge of the distribution department and the residence was still Qi Shang. However, this time, his attitude toward Yun Chujio and the others had taken a 180-degree turn. Last time he was as cold as ice, but this time he was as warm as spring. "Junior sister Little Jiao, you're a personal disciple. You can choose a residence in the upper part of the middle section of Middle Peak. The spiritual qi there is much stronger than at the foot of the mountain." Qi Shang was afraid that Yun Chujio would look for trouble, so he said with a smile. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes, thought for a moment and said, My master is still in secluded cultivation, so I won't change my accommodation for the time being. Let's talk about it after my master comes out of cultivation. Not only Qishang but everyone was stunned. Was Yunchujo stupid? She was living at the foot of the mountain, and the spiritual qi there was far inferior to the spiritual qi in the personal disciple area. Besides, she was living in the servants' dormitory in the Middle Peak's big kitchen. How demeaning. Yunchu tugged at Yunchujia's sleeve. Little Joe, don't be willful. Yunchujo smiled at her. Fifth sister, I have my own plans. You guys choose yours. Yunchu and the others were already used to listening to Yunchujia's words. Seeing that she insisted, they went along with her. After exiting the office, Rolling Pin asked in puzzlement, Master, why didn't you change your residence? Of course there's a reason. Right now my residence is remote and there aren't many people coming. It's the best. Firstly, Gigolo and Black Chicken Head often comes to look for me. These two are fearless masters. It wouldn't be good if others got caught in this. Secondly, I have too many secrets. It's better if I don't attract attention. Thirdly, and most importantly, you'll always attract lightning. It won't be good if I implicate others. My current living quarters is close to the back of the mountain, which is great because I can run back there if needed. As soon as Yunchujo finished speaking, dark rolling clouds began to gather in the sky. Yunchujo looked up and said in a calm tone, Look, speaking of the devil, let's go to the back of the mountain. Chapter 344. The overlord who turned on the flirting mode Yunchujo rode on the chopping board and leisurely arrived at the back of the mountain. The huge pit that was created by the lightning had already been filled up. She did not know where they had transplanted the trees. Anyway, the back of the mountain was a thriving scene. Yunchujo could not help but feel a little guilty. After this strike, the back of the mountain would probably be filled with destruction again. She was really a little expert at destroying ecological balance. The clouds above the back of the mountain became heavier and darker. The voice transmission talisman in the storage ring started to tremble. Black Thing, are you at the back of the mountain? Prince Charming, I'm at the back of the mountain. The little purple loach is going to strike me again. Yunchujo was stunned, but her heart warmed up. The gigolo misses me. Wait for me. Biming only said 2 words, and Yunchujia's heart palpitated. She could not help but pat herself on her face. You're quite promising. Biming soon appeared in front of Yunchujo. My Prince Charming, you just watch from the side. They can't do anything to me. Yunchujo did not know why, but she still felt a little shy. Biming nodded, don't worry, I'm here. Yunchujo felt her little heart thumping violently. TSK, why did the gigolo turn on his flirting mode at the slightest disagreement? She really wanted to pounce on him and ravage him. Boom! 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 A series of lightning bolts woke Yunchujo up from her daze. This fellow was interrupted and immediately became angry. Yunchujo placed her hands on her waist and started to curse. Damn it! Don't you have eyes? Can't you see that I'm talking to my Prince Charming? Don't you have any manners? Haven't you learned moral education? Are all of you from the dark thunderclouds world so uncultured? None of you are worthy of such a noble color like purple. A bunch of loaches. There's a word that fits all of you perfectly. It's the combination of all of you. Strike me? If you have the ability, continue to strike me. The thing that I'm least afraid of is being struck by lightning. If you don't strike me, you're a slow tortoise-like bastard. When Furry saw this scene, his face was filled with tears. How stupid was she? She even wanted to kill this scourge with lightning. Good heavens, her little heavenly lightning could not be compared to these heavenly lightning. Okay? She was not even afraid of such dense heavenly lightning, yet she still wanted to kill it. She was so stupid. At that moment, the thick dark clouds in the sky wanted to cry but had no tears. News of Yunchujo, this weirdo, had spread throughout the Thunder world. A small freak had appeared on a low-level continent like the Qingxian continent. She could not be killed no matter how she was struck. The most infuriating thing was that this fellow's mouth was especially sarcastic. and she could curse you without any obscene words. However, it had no choice. It had to come because it was a mission. At that moment, the dark clouds was thinking in its heart, it'll just strike a couple times. It can't kill her anyway. I'd better let the heavens think of another way to kill her. Yoon Chujio was a little unhappy when she saw that the dark clouds was unenthusiastically striking her. Hey, you in the sky. Have you not eaten yet? If you want to strike me, be quick. I'm still waiting for lunch. What are you waiting for? If you don't strike me, I'm going to scold you. The dark clouds in the sky had a mental breakdown. Why are you still threatening me? Besides, could you not scold me anymore? You've clearly scolded me for quite a while just now. The dark clouds in the sky struck a pot and smashed it. With a crackling sound, it struck down the remaining heavenly lightning and flew away as if it was fleeing. In future hacking mission, I will not accept it anymore. I will not do anything. It hurts my pride too much. Chapter 345. He was called Di Bayu Master Xianyuan, and the others also paid attention to the situation at the back of the mountain. They strictly forbade their disciples from approaching the back of the middle peak. Master Xianyuan felt that he should issue a sect rule to make the back of the middle peak a forbidden area. Yoon Chujio saw that the dark clouds had drifted away. She jumped into Di Baiming's arms and said, "Prince Charming, I was struck so miserably. Please carry me back." The corner of Di Baiming's eyes twitched. The dark clouds in the sky seemed even more miserable. When it floated away, it seemed to be trembling. However, with the soft ball of a person in his arms, Di Baiming's heart melted. He immediately carried Yoon Chujio and walked down the mountain. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. Someone was coming. Di Baiming's eyes flashed. There was no harm in seeing them. Sure enough, they met Master Xianyuan, the 5 Peak Masters, and a group of elders not far away. At that moment, Yoon Chujio was touching Di Baiming, and he did not stop her. Yoon Chujio's hand was reaching into Di Baiming's clothes. Cough! Cough! Master Xianyuan felt that it was a little harsh on his eyes, so he quickly coughed dryly. Yoon Chujio was busy taking advantage of him just now and did not notice the arrival of these people. She sheepishly withdrew her hand and screamed, "Ah! I was knocked unconscious." Everyone was speechless. Can you please act more realistically? Aren't you looking down on our intelligence like that? You looked like a pervert just now and suddenly you fainted. Who are you kidding? The crowd could not be bothered to expose her, so they turned their attention to Di Baiming. Everyone was shocked. What an outstanding young man. He was dressed in a white brocade robe, and his facial features were as handsome as ever. What was more shocking was this person's aura. His gaze was sharp. The aura of superiority was undoubtedly revealed. Everyone could not help but take a few steps back, and even had a faint desire to submit to him. Everyone was even more shocked to discover that they could not see through this young man's cultivation base. That could only mean that this young man's cultivation base was actually higher than everyone else's. He looked to be less than 20 years old, but he actually possessed such profound spiritual power. It was really unbelievable. Yoon Chujio, who was pretending to be unconscious, slowly realized that everyone did not know Di Baiming. She jumped down from his arms and acted as if nothing had happened. Fortunately, her lips were no longer so swollen, or else she would really be too ashamed to see anyone. She said with a smile, "Sect Master. Hello everyone. When did you arrive?" The corners of everyone's eyes twitched. You're too good at pretending. Come, let me introduce everyone. This is the benefactor who saved me last time. His name is Di Bayu, Yoon Chujio said with a smile. Di Baiming staggered. Good, very good. Just you wait, black thing. So it's Master Di. Thank you for saving my disciple. Please come to the meeting hall and let us be good hosts. Master Xianyuan said politely. Yoon Chujio was about to reject on behalf of Di Baiming, but he nodded lightly. Master Xianyuan, please. Everyone, please. Yoon Chujio was stunned. What did the gigolo mean? Was he not always hiding? Why did things suddenly change this time? Di Baiming saw that Yoon Chujio was stunned, so he grabbed her little claws and led her forward. Master Xianyuan and the others exchanged glances. Oh my God! They did not expect that little Jiu's peach blossoms would bloom so brightly. She had actually hooked such an outstanding husband. This young man had an extraordinary background, and his looks and spiritual power were so outstanding. Little Jiu was simply lucky. Chapter 346. He fell in love with me at first sight. When the group of people exited the back mountain, they immediately attracted the attention of many disciples of Spirit Radiance sect. Especially so because of D. Biming's outstanding appearance and imposing manner, which made some female disciples dizzy with infatuation. Oh my God, who is this man? Originally, they thought that senior brother Fengming was already charming enough, but compared to this man, he was simply not by a bit. Although senior brother Fengming was also very outstanding, this man's temperament was really too mesmerizing. His handsome facial features, sharp eyes, and that noble and natural temperament were too mesmerizing. Some female disciples discovered a big problem. Such an outstanding man was actually holding Yun Chujia's hand. Did this handsome man not have good eyesight? Although Yun Chujia was already much fairer than when she first entered the sect, but her figure was still shriveled, without a single curve. How could it compare to their enchanting figures? Perhaps this handsome man was Yun Chujia's brother or uncle. Yes, it must be so. Anyone with eyes would not like such a shriveled little girl. Moreover, she was only a good-for-nothing at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm. These female disciples reluctantly watched the handsome man leave. One by one, they started rushing home to dress up. Then, they blocked the outside of the meeting hall, waiting for the handsome man to come out so that they could curry favor of the handsome man. Master Xianyuan and the others entered the meeting hall. After they took their seats, Yun Chuzhou ran behind Di Biming, looking like a well-behaved little girl. Everyone's eyes twitched. Little Jiu, can you be a good girl? If you aren't taking advantage of others, then you're acting cute in front of everyone. It's really embarrassing. The reason why Yun Chuzhou did this was because she regretted saying his name so quickly. Pretty boy, don't settle scores yet, okay? Please perform well. Master D, may I know where you're from? Master Xianyuan asked with a smile. His home is on the sea. Otherwise, why would he be called Di Biming? Yun Chuzhou was afraid that Di Biming would not lie, so she said with a smile. On the sea? Could it be the legendary Penglai Immortal Island? Master Xianyuan asked in surprise. It was said that there was a Penglai Immortal Island on the sea, and the spiritual power of the people on it was very high, close to that of immortals. Could it be that Master D was from there? He's not from Penglai Immortal Island. He's from Kuanping Immortal Island. Yun Chuzhou spoke nonsense. Di Biming's eyes flashed, and he just let her talk nonsense. He was not good at lying, so he just let her deal with it. Kuanping Immortal Island? Master Xianyuan exchanged a look with everyone. He had never heard of it before, but judging from the strength of the young man, Kuanping Immortal Island must be the location of a reclusive expert. Master Xianyuan, my Prince Charming isn't good with words, so I'll speak on his behalf. He came out to travel. Last time he happened to save me, and then he fell in love with me at first sight. Just now when he saw the dark clouds in the sky, he came to save me again. I'm really a little embarrassed. The crowd was at a loss of words. They had seen people with thick skin, but someone as thick-skinned as Yun Chuzhou was simply unheard of. Your Prince Charming? Do you know what it means to be reserved like a girl? And he fell in love with her at first sight. What kind of person would fall in love with you at first sight with the way you were last time? However, everyone saw that young Master D was only listening with a smile on his face and did not even refute her. It seemed that although Yun Chujia's words were a little exaggerated, this young Master D really took a fancy to little Jiu? Could it be that he saw through Yun Chujia's heavenly thunder root spirit? Was that why he looked at Yun Chuzhou in a different light? Chapter 347. Heartbroken Master D, no matter what, you've saved our Spirit Radiance sect disciple. Please stay for a few more days and let us be good hosts. Master Xianyuan said with a smile. D. Baiming nodded. Thank you. Then I'll have to trouble you. Master D. Then I'll send someone to bring you to our sect's guest house later. Then I'll send a disciple to accompany you around Spirit Radiance sect. Master Xianyuan said very politely. Such an outstanding young man must not be offended. Moreover, he had the support of Kuanping Immortal Island. D. Baiming shook his head. Master Xianyuan, there's no need to trouble you. I'll just stay at little Joe's place for a few days. What was that? What did this Master D mean? What did he mean by staying at little Joe's place for a few days? Did they misunderstood him? Was Yun Chujia's place not just a room? The two of them wanted to be in the same room together? When Yun Chujo heard D. Baiming call her little Joe for the first time, her heart felt numb and her thick, old skin started to turn pink as she said shyly, "Wasn't he severely injured last time? I was the one who took care of him. Us normal people don't have so many scruples. Besides, he's still young. Don't worry, he'll be sleeping on the floor." Everyone felt that their old hearts could not take it anymore. Young people nowadays were too bold and unrestrained. That was right, they did not think too much about it last time. If something could happen, it would have happened last time too. However, Yun Chujo was right. She was still young, and this young Master D had a graceful bearing. He would not be so mean to bully little Joe. "Sect Master, if you feel guilty, then reward me with some more spirit stones and delicious food. I promise to treat my Prince Charming well. I promise I won't keep it all for myself," Yun Chujo said with a grin. Everyone felt that if she did not add the last sentence, they would believe her even more. With her wild and unruly personality, she would be a ghost if she was not greedy. Master Xianyuan laughed and said, "Little Joe, don't be mischievous. In that case, I'll let you accompany young Master D for a tour around Spirit Radiance sect. I'll arrange for a banquet. Please be sure to attend when the time comes." D. Baiming nodded. "Thank you." When everyone saw that young Master D did not say much, they exchanged some pleasantries before sending him off. Yun Chujo held D. Baiming's arm and hopped out of the meeting hall. When she saw the scene outside, she was instantly enraged. Fuck! What was the meaning of this? All of you are so flashy. Where's the beauty contest? Do you think Gigolo is a piece of meat? Can all of you wipe your saliva off? Yun Chujo instantly had a strong sense of crisis. She held D. Baiming's arm even tighter, and her entire body leaned on his. "Prince Charming, my feet hurt. Carry me," Yun Chujo said in a sweet voice. The female disciples who were fighting for the Prince Charming were instantly enraged. Prince Charming. From the way she addressed him, he was definitely not an elder brother or uncle. "Yun Chujo, you little girl, you actually touched this handsome man. Your feet hurts? Weren't you jumping around happily just now? Besides, don't you have a chopping board? Why do you want this handsome man to carry you? Shameless." The handsome man definitely wouldn't agree. Definitely not. The handsome man raised his eyebrows, and then he actually picked up the thick-skinned Yun Chujo and flew away on his sword. Everyone felt their hearts break. How was that possible? How could he turn a blind eye to these delicate flowers and take a fancy to that simpleton grass of a person? Chapter 348. Dantian was about to explode. Yun Chujo made a face at everyone and stuck out her tongue. "Humph. Want to covert Yun Chujius, man? In your dreams. Prince Charming. Don't you usually hide your tracks? Why did you suddenly reveal yourself this time?" Yun Chujo asked curiously. D. Baiming raised his eyebrows. "I was feeling happy. But why did you give me the name D. Bayu?" Yun Chujo blinked her eyes at him. "I was afraid that you wouldn't think of a suitable pseudonym. Besides, there's nothing wrong with the name I gave you. Isn't it suitable?" The corner of D. Baiming's eyes twitched. This black thing was really good at making up lies. If he was not involved, he would have believed her. "Prince Charming, don't call me black thing anymore. Little Joe is fine," Yun Chujo said with a slightly red face. It was really strange. Why did she not feel embarrassed when others called her Little Joe? D. Baiming raised his eyebrows. "I think black thing is nice. If you continue being noisy, You can ride the chopping board back yourself. Yoon Chujo pursed her lips and hugged him even tighter, afraid that Lee Biming would leave her behind. The two of them arrived at the dormitory. Yoon Chujo pouted and ignored him as she went into the room angrily. Lee Biming raised his eyebrows. He did not go into the room to comfort Yoon Chujo. Instead, he washed his hands and placed the dishes on the stone table. Black thing, it's time for lunch. If you don't want to eat, then forget it. You haven't tried these new dishes this time anyway. Maybe you wouldn't like it either. Lee Biming raised his voice and said. As soon as he said that, Yoon Chujo rushed out like a small whirlwind. Who said I wouldn't like it? Humph. The corner of Lee Biming's mouth curled up. He was proud in his heart. He had a lot of experience dealing with a greedy little thing like her. When Yoon Chujo was halfway through eating, she suddenly screamed, it hurts so much. Lee Biming was shocked. At first, he thought that Yoon Chujo was pranking him, but when he saw her appearance, he immediately became anxious. Yoon Chujo's forehead was covered with beads of sweat. She was obviously in extreme pain. Black thing, what's wrong? Lee Biming hugged Yoon Chujo and asked anxiously. My dantian hurts. My dantian feels like it's about to explode. Prince Charming, I feel terrible. Yoon Chujo's clothes were soon soaked in sweat. Her body was trembling and her eyes were becoming more and more unfocused. Lee Biming was so anxious that the veins on his forehead were popping. He quickly took out a crystal-clear pill from his storage ring and stuffed it into Yoon Chujo's mouth. And Fong and In's mouths gaped when they saw the pill. They wanted to say something but stopped. It was a life-saving pill given to him by his honored master. Even if there was only a sliver of life left, one would be saved. They did not expect his honored master to feed it to Miss Jo just like that. Their honored master had completely fallen for her. After Yoon Chujo ate the pill, her condition improved. Lee Biming hurriedly said, Black thing, quickly use your spiritual sense to look inside and see what's going on. Yoon Chujo used her spiritual sense to look inside and was instantly enraged. She saw that the inside of her dantian had been turned upside down. The great void mirror and the strange grass were fighting. The mirror kept hitting the strange grass with its body. The strange grass then used 3 leaves to hit the mirror. All of you stop. Do you still see me as your landlord? I'm going to die. Then all of you can stop living. If you continue to torment me, I'll cut my abdomen right now. I'll give up my dantian. Chapter 349. Yoon Chujo's painting the strange grass used a leaf to hold its waist, looking indignant. The mirror trembled a few times and was clearly very angry. Furry said weakly in her spiritual sense, Master, they started fighting because they were snatching those purple lightning bolts. I really couldn't stop them. Yoon Chujo said hatefully, Strange grass and small mirror, you all better behave. In the future, if there are any more lightning bolts, we'll split them in half. Otherwise, we can all die and not think of anything. The strange grass and the great void mirror trembled slightly. It probably meant that they agreed. Only then did Yoon Chujo withdraw from her spiritual sense. Prince Charming, it's much better now. It's that damned grass and that broken mirror that are fighting. Yoon Chujo leaned in Lee Biming's arms and said weakly. Lee Biming carried Yoon Chujo to the bed in the house. He frowned. If this goes on, there will be problems sooner or later. I've already sent a voice transmission talisman to my master, but he might be in secluded cultivation and may not reply to me. He's a mighty figure in the Tianyuan continent. He'll definitely know what to do. Yoon Chujo nodded. Okay. Prince Charming, I believe you. What kind of pill did you feed me just now? The Primordial Chaos Vitality Pill. It's a level 15 pill. My master gave it to me. Lee Biming said calmly. Level 15? Isn't that very precious then? Don't tell me you only had one pill? Yoon Chujo asked in surprise. No wonder it worked immediately after she ate it. Lee Biming nodded. There's indeed only one pill. No matter how precious it is, it's not as important as your life. Yoon Chujo had seen some scenes in the past where the female lead was moved to tears by the male lead's words. She felt that it was too fake. However, why did the gigolo say that sentence? Why did she feel like crying? Yoon Chujia's tears started to flow down, sob sob. My idol, you're really too good to me. I won't secretly scold you anymore. I won't take the painting of you to sell for money anymore. Lee Biming was still sad when he saw Yoon Chujo crying. When he heard the last sentence, he asked, "Where's the painting?" Yoon Chujo covered her mouth. Indeed, the IQ of a woman in love was 0. Why did I tell him about this? Yoon Chujo covered her stomach. Ouch, it hurts again. Ouch, it hurts. It would be weird for Lee Biming to believe her. He smiled coldly. Black thing, are you going to take it out or not? Yoon Chujo saw that Lee Biming's eyebrows were raised. She had no choice but to take out the painting from her storage ring slowly. There's only this one. There's really no more. Lee Biming did not comment. He snatched the painting and opened it. His face immediately turned red. He saw that the painting was indeed him. It was just him lying on the floor. Most importantly, Lee Biming was both embarrassed and angry. Black thing. Why you have no sense of shame? What did you say just now? You were going to sell this painting for money? Yoon Chujo laughed dryly. My Prince Charming, don't be angry. I was just saying it for fun. How could I bear to let others see this? If others dare to peek at your body, I'll dig out her eyes. Furthermore, my idol, this drawing is meant to relieve the pain of lovesickness. When I think of you, I'll take it out and take a look. Suddenly, my waist is no longer sore and my legs no longer hurt. I can even walk with energy. Yoon Chujo saw that Lee Biming was still frowning. She gritted her teeth and said, Idol, if your heart isn't in equilibrium, I'll draw one of me for you. Chapter 350. Struck by lightning once again. Nonsense. How can a girl's body be seen by others? In the future, you're not allowed to draw such immoral paintings anymore. Lee Biming shouted angrily. Yoon Chujo shrunk her neck. Yes, I know. I'll never draw again. Anyway, I still have a stack of them in my storage ring. All kinds of postures. Gigolo, you'll die of anger if you argue with me. Lee Biming thought that Yoon Chujo had realized her mistake and softened his tone. You didn't finish your meal. Do you want to go out for lunch or rest for a while? Yoon Chujo immediately jumped down from the bed. I'm fine now. Let's go. Let's continue eating. And Fong and An saw Yoon Chujo jumping down and their eyeballs almost fell out. She was about to die just now. Why is she jumping up and down now? What a monster. What a pity for our revered one's primordial chaos vitality pill. Yoon Chujo had just eaten a few mouthfuls of food when a dark cloud floated over from the sky. Yoon Chujo sighed. I can't finish this meal. Prince Charming, perhaps it's because I ate the primordial chaos vitality pill. I'm going to break through. I have to hurry to the back mountain or else this courtyard will be ruined. How could Lee Biming be at ease? He quickly carried Yoon Chujo and flew toward the back mountain. The two of them had just arrived at the back mountain when the sky darkened. From the looks of it, the sky was much bigger than the dark clouds from before. The dark cloud from before was just a formality. Seemed that this was for real. Yoon Chujo counted with her fingers. I'm now at the 8th level of spirit enhancement. From the looks of it, I might directly break through to the spirit cultivator realm. I reckon that this damn heavens will not let me off easily. Prince Charming, you must not block the lightning for me this time. I now have a great void mirror in my dantian which also absorbs lightning. It definitely won't be a problem. You just stay by the side and watch. Lee Biming nodded, but in his heart he planned to make a move if the black thing could not withstand it. Master Xianyuan and the others realized that the back of the mountain was once again shrouded in dark clouds. Moreover, it looked even more frightening than the one in the morning. They hurriedly ordered the disciples of the sect to strictly forbid anyone from approaching the back of Middle Peak. Then they stretched their necks and paid full attention to the situation. There was lightning strikes this morning already. Why is it happening again? What did little Jiu do to provoke the heavens? Elder Chu asked in puzzlement. Could it be that she's going to break through? Maybe after she was done in the morning, the lightning spiritual power in Yoon Chujia's body has accumulated to a certain level, so she is going to break through? Elder Shao guessed. Everyone thought that it made sense. After Yun Chujo was struck by lightning last time, she went from not having any spiritual power to the 4th level of spirit enhancement. Who knew how many levels she would rise this time? Yun Chujo looked at the dark clouds above her head and found it somewhat familiar. Damn it, wasn't this the piece of dark cloud that struck me and the gigolo naked last time? Fuck. It's you again. Last time you really struck me hard. This time I'm not the same as before. I've changed my weapon. Strike me. Little Loach. Since Yun Chujo had a great void mirror in her dantian, she had more confidence. Even though sometimes these two were quite deceptive, sometimes they were quite useful. For example, at that moment, the dark clouds in the sky thought that it had succeeded last time, but it did not expect this little scourge to suddenly become more powerful and more lively. In the end, it could only return empty-handed. Boom! 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 This time the dark clouds had learned a lesson and directly struck a powerful heavenly thunder as thick as a wrist at Yun Chujo. No matter what, we must get rid of this scourge this time. Defend the dignity of our lightning tribulation. You're tuning in to the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.